games, you know what it is. The boys on the net just talking that biz. MFFL's gather all in the chat. Across the globe, we talking the Mavs. You know they can't play with the kid. Come listen to Texas, come and see how they live. Watch the replay, come and see what they did. It's tough one of y'all, come and see what it is. You got King, he's a poppin' prophet. Or he like Neo in the Matrix. You got Rel, the tech god, or Math Mind. Ali at his greatest. Baltimore to Dallas. You know that the flights are not stopping. The triple double madness. That Luke get out, he dropping. The way stats, trades, deficit, and profit. They're gonna take our picks and they're gonna keep it honest. Numbers, development, that player, progress. Down to the team, up to the front office. So get your seats, gather your comments. Keep it clean and stay on topic. WTM, please speak your part. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a glow, y'all.
YouTube, Glow Yard Gang, Twitch, MFFLs, podcast listeners all over the globe. I see everybody bobbing their heads out here, man. You still was feeling that. It is the boys, man. We back yet again with another one, man, for y'all. This is an unscripted one for you guys. I know it was something we didn't plan, but we just did it at the last minute. It is your boy Rel and King from We Talk Mavs here on the Glow Mavs YouTube channel. Listen, man, there's a guy trying to dodge my partner out here, man. It was sick and coughing all on me and stuff, man. I'm trying to Neo that thing out here. What's good, y'all? King, what's good, man?
Nothing much, bro. I'm a little under the weather right now, but I had to do this for the Glow Yard. He told me to come out here, Rel, with a 40-point game in the finals. So I gotta give it to you. You feel me? Gotta hold it down for you.
Say King, think he Dirk out here in the 2011 finals.
I was
game
going
6.
more for Michael, but Michael's game wasn't really a flu game, so I guess I'm gonna go Dirk.
Ooh, hold on, bro. Should I do the shots? I mean, okay, all right, I'll let you have that one. But yeah, man, listen, y'all, I see who we got on the screen here today, man. We got some special guests. We got 2 returning, 2 new, 2 guys we've been trying to get on for the longest, man. We finally got it going here with you guys. So let me go ahead and introduce them. First, we got the returning, my boy, pre-game god out here, TGK. What's good, man?
Man, what's good, everybody? What's good? Appreciate the invite, man.
Man, stop showing out too, man. I'm just tired of you showing out, bro.
Man, am I, man?
You got everything looking crisp out here, man. I like that, TGK. I like that. And then, of course, man, we got the exactly. And of course, now we got the return. We got that boy Enyi from the Dallas Prospects, man. YouTube channel. What's good, man?
Yo, what it do? What it do? Ready to talk some Mavs on this icy Alaska evening.
Yes, sir. Exactly, man. Exactly. And then we got some brand new guests into the building. You guys probably know them from 77 Spaces on Twitter, guys. Pre-game show also on Twitter. Guys, tune in to these guys, man. I enjoy listening to their show right before the game start. I try to listen to them and TGK at the same time, man. I got one on my phone and one on my TV, man. So we got Rolo, man. What's good, Rolo?
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate the invite. And, yeah, we've been needing to do this collaboration for a while, man. So, yeah, I mean, I love being up here with you guys. I love talking Mavs, so this is going to be fun.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And we got the second half, man. We got my boy Juan. What's good, man?
It's Jose.
I'm sorry. My bad. I apologize.
Oh, you're right.
I apologize.
Restart the whole show.
Yeah, restart. Go ahead. My bad, Jose. My bad. Go ahead, man.
But good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening. Appreciate y'all for joining us here on We Talk Mavs. Appreciate the invite. I want to say I love the intro for the channel and the podcast because I listen to the podcast, the recaps in the morning. So I just want to say I'm thankful to be on the show. Thank y'all for inviting us.
I'm glad you said good morning too, because there's definitely some people in here. It's morning time for them, for some of them who'll be listening from Slovenia and other places. Germany, is that where Smito from?
Yeah.
But yeah, so guys, listen, we about to get into some Mav discussions here, guys. I know y'all heard a lot about trade rumors and stuff like that. There's one huge rumor that came out that we're going to talk about here, surrounding one Deandre Ayton, King's favorite center of all time. So he got the jersey already pre-ordered if he signs. So let's go ahead and get into it, fellas. So here's an article right here talking about DeAndre Ayton. Of course, DeAndre Ayton trade rumors may consider Sun star later. Said not right now. So it could be, this summer. We don't know. There was a clip here from, I'm not going to play it because I want to just get in trouble or anything. But yeah, y'all can go to Zach Lowe's podcast, and they talk about it on there. I think I heard a little bit of this. I didn't hear that part, but I did hear them talking about the part when they were talking about Dallas might be looking at trying to trade Dorian Finney-Smith. So, did any of you guys listen to this podcast and hear anything about this rumor?
So
I listened passively. I can't really tell you in detail what they said about Dorian, but I listened to something else. I think it was Shams, and basically what he said was how the reports came out at like Dallas is looking to move, or they're open to moving Dorian Finney-Smith for a all-star type player. They're talking about not necessarily, getting one in return, but it's literally, getting a first round pick is set up for possibly the summertime. So that's kind of the stuff that they're talking about. So
right here it says this is from Tim McMahon, by the way, too. So normally Tim McMahon said, y'all can probably take it to the bank. But he said a name that I've heard around the Mavericks. McMahon says at the hour and 20-second mark. He says, and I think that it would have been a later than right now type of situations. I think there is more than likely a down the road conversation. Ayton has a no trade clause this season after signing a 4-year deal for $132.9 million contract in the offseason. Although McMahon indicated that the center likely would use his veto in most situations, which is pretty much obvious. If it's a team he wants to go to, I think he would veto it. The 24-year-old initially signed an offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers, if y'all don't remember, as a restricted free agent before the Suns matched the deal. So I know a lot of people thought that he was going to Indiana, hands down. I know I did, until the Suns at the last hour kind of swooped in and vetoed that. So yeah. But yeah, Jose, what were you about to say though, man? You about to say?
So the way that I heard about Ayton was one of my co-hosts, mine's and Rolo's co-host, Jazz, had sent an article. It was highlighted, the phrasing that was used when describing DeAndre Ayton becoming a Maverick maybe down the road. And we talked about it in our group chat. And today I had heard the Mark Stein and Chris Haynes podcast. Forgot the podcast title, but they just recently started, and I think they alluded towards the end that Ayton could become a Maverick sooner or later. Right. So I don't really like this. I don't like Ayton as a Maverick, and I'll discuss it whenever y'all are ready. But
I'll go ahead, man. What's on your mind?
All right, so. Just a couple of, I think a couple of days or last week, the Mavericks played the Phoenix Suns. DeAndre Ayton had 20 rebounds. That was honorable. That was something that I always love from a center, is the ability to get rebounds. But my biggest gripe about DeAndre Ayton when I was watching this game, I had watched it a couple of days after because I was working overtime and whatnot. I fell asleep, didn't care to watch a 9 o'clock game when I had to get up at 2:30 in the morning. But anyways, he goes 6 of 20. You see Dwight Powell have an impact defensively in the paint. You see okay, so there was a clip of Fred VanVleet being able to just really rattle his cage when he was trying to post him up and back him down in the paint. And when you have that ability, like, it was something that I had negatively responded towards when it was KP. You see a 7-foot guy not being able to post up in the paint and just be rattled by either shorter guys or just somebody who's just giving them a little bit of a tough time. And DeAndre Ayton is a little bit thicker than KP. And to see these type of moments from DeAndre Ayton, I'm like, I can't have that on the Mavs. I want a more traditional center that just does dirty work in terms of rebounding, blocking, and then they'll go up for a lob here or there. I don't need a finesse big to become what the Mavericks want them to become, because we're kind of seeing that impact with Christian Wood. Is that Christian Wood is not particularly a defender. He's showing that he could try a little bit more, but it's not really working. I mean, the Mavericks defense have dropped all the way down to the 26th or 25th rank, and that was also due to Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Green, and Maxey being all out at the same time. But you see that in some cases, Jason Kidd alluded into those interviews that it was a layup line. And if we get this guy in DeAndre Ayton, who has shown that he could offensively give it to anybody on any given night, but then you see some of the reportings about like Monty Williams and his relationship behind the scenes, and then you also hear about DeAndre Ayton during the playoffs. He was staying up and playing Call of Duty. I'm sorry, I just do not want that right now with the Mavs.
Okay. What's on your mind, TGK? What you got?
Man, when it comes to Ayton, I mean, on the surface, you're like, hell yeah. You know, it's a center, get his rebounds. You got to run the pick and roll with Luka. And naturally, normally, anyone that plays with Luka, they're going to immediately improve, right? I think Luka's gotten all of these players like Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, I think he's gotten them paid. Honestly, it's not been Kidd that's gotten them paid. It's really Luka. Just being around that guy is going to bring you more money, right? Because your efficiency goes up, your wide open attempts goes up astronomically. I think Ayton would get a lot better shot selection with Luka because of the doubles that are going to come, the right under the basket, the easy baskets that he'll get that Kleba misses or that Tim Hardaway misses, right? I think Ayton will avoid missing those kind of shots. But I don't know if Ayton is the type of player that you could put behind a Christian Wood, right? I still have yet to have that confidence knowing that he can protect Wood on the backside. Now, I feel like he can, but it's just I haven't watched too much Suns to be like, yeah, he can, because then you've seen what we were able to do to them last year in the playoffs. I mean, Luka was just exposing this guy one-on-one, and that's a 6'7", 6'8" guard, and what Jose was saying about Van Fleet, if Van Fleet's doing that, then there's a lot of concern there. But again, it's like, well, where are we gonna get to the point like, dang, we don't want a number 3, number 2 option in the scheme of things. So it gets really tough because it's like our roster's already depleted as it is from a high talent perspective, because it's not like we're top heavy, right? We have one top player that's up there, and everything else is kind of just meddling in mediocrity, right? So it's just like, imagine if Luka did have an Ayton with him. Imagine if Christian Wood became that solidified number 2 too, like official, right? So I don't know. I like the idea of it, and Jose made a really good point, and I'm just like, I know we've seen that KP thing struggle with like little guards, but also I can see how Luka can improve Ayton that much more. It just depends what the entire deal is, right? Are you telling me we're gonna, in the summer, if we don't trade Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bertans, do we trade that and a first to get him? Then I'd be open to it, but it just depends what the package is.
All right, what you got, Rolo? What's on your mind, man?
A couple of things, man. So I'm conflicted about Ayton, right? So we have a real close friend of ours named Chico, who's from the Bahamas, where Ayton's from, right? And so he's told us himself that Ayton is he's not a worker, right? So to what Jose was talking about, how he likes to play Call of Duty, that was like, he's not in the gym. He's not the one trying to do everything he can to improve his game, right? So he's doing whatever just to get by. So I don't know if I like that like him for that. But on the flip side, right, I just think that he's just not happy in Phoenix. I think they disrespected him. I think that he felt, disrespected because he was the number 1 overall pick, and he felt like he should have gotten paid without any question. So maybe if he went to a different place, maybe he could become the worker. Maybe just getting around other people that are workers, maybe that would drive him to become a better worker. But to TGK's point, I think that it really just depends on the package, right? So I think a lot of the trades that we're going to talk about tonight, I think it's all predicated on what we're sending out, what we're willing to give up, what we're willing, you know what I mean? So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. But yeah, I don't know. That was my biggest problem with Christian Wood, right? Christian Wood had a reputation, I mean, I think that we all heard about his reputation. Since he's been here, he's been on his best behavior. He's trying to fit in. He's saying all the right things. He's doing, he's making the right moves to want to stay or whatever is going to happen with him as well. But the biggest thing is we don't need multiple knuckleheads. We have the ultimate knucklehead in Luka. You know what I mean? Like look, I love him, man. He's a great player, but he's still a kid, right? He's 23. He still has some maturing to do. So if you have to have him try to mature, then Ayton try to mature, and there's just going to be too many. Maybe the coaching staff can coach them up, maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be predicated on package. It's going to be predicated on what the plan is, because I think that's going to be where I would go with all the trade talk and everything with the Mavs. The Mavs for years now just don't seem like they have a plan in place, and so that's where I want to know, hey, what is Nico's plan? What is Jason Kidd's plan? Because we know Mark Cuban's plan is just to save money. That's what he's about. He's not trying to pay the tax. He's going to have to pay it no matter what this year, but but yeah, man, we'll see what the package is. I'm not opposed to it, but at the same time, it just depends on what we're giving up,
What you got, Enyi?
Well, I'm opposed. Well, I'm not gonna say opposed, but I have a couple of questions about it. All right. And so let me get y'all's opinion on DeAndre Ayton. Is he a player that you can give the ball to, let him work, and he'll get you buckets? Is he that type of player? Okay.
King think he is.
King thinks he is. TGK, what say you?
Let me wait till I get to my part. Just
I
don't.
know. I got
I'm
you.
talking to real.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. TGK, what say you?
I think in certain situations we've seen him do it, so it's just I don't know what it is where he falls off on, like the fact that Dwight Powell was able to shut him down, and I ain't never seen Dwight Powell shut anybody down the entire year. Like that's a red flag, right?
You saying Dwight Powell not a lockdown defender? What are you talking about? What's happening?
Some people, yes.
It's just like I've seen it, but then like, what the heck was that? So,
Yeah.
The inconsistency is the issue.
Yo, Rolo, what say you?
I mean, he can get buckets because I've seen him do it. Now it just again, how does it fit with the Mavs, right? Because I mean, Luka's gonna have the ball the majority of the time. So is it going to be a situation like Jose was talking about, where we're going to have to feed him the ball like we had to do with KP to get him involved? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
So I think that I've seen him do it in Phoenix's system. I would have to see how it would work with the Mavs. But I mean, he can get buckets. It's just a matter of feeding him to get him the buckets.
Jose, what say you?
Short answer, yes, but there's some inconsistencies.
Okay. All right. So the reason why I asked that, because this is the thing that I believe the Mavericks need to do in terms of when they're looking for their number two next to Luka. They need to find someone, in my opinion, who can shoulder the load of the offense to a point where Luka can rest and our offense not completely fall off, or we can have Luka be off ball for more than he already is. Because my goal is to get a more rested Luka at the end of the games. And so the person that I want to bring in, who I'm looking to bring in, has to have those traits that will allow me to be able to do that. And I'm not going to sit here and say DeAndre Ayton is that, or isn't that, because I haven't seriously watched him to that point. I know from what I saw from him last year, it didn't seem like he was that guy. It did to me seem like he was a little inconsistent. It's not really quite something I want to see from my number two, because here, one of the things that I've been saying about the Mavericks is, in the era of the dynamic duos, when we finally got past the big threes, we went down to the dynamic duos. The Mavericks have always been far behind in terms of the rest of the league, in terms of people who aspire to be contending with their number twos, right? We have an A+ number one, perhaps top 3, top 5 player in the league. Our number 2 guy is perhaps one of the worst. We have teams that are tanking that probably have better number 2s than we do. and so on and so forth down the roster. You take Luka out this roster, we are in the race for Wembanyama, whatever his name is. So, I say all that to say I'm not sure if I want to bring DeAndre Ayton in. If we were to use our big swing on him, I'm a little hesitant. I want to bring someone with a little bit more track record. I want to bring someone who's a little bit more reliable, who has some work ethic, like Jose Rolo said about him, playing video games instead of working on his craft. That's something that that's something I value. I try to look past the narrative stuff because I know narratives can change with location. Sometimes when you're in a place where you don't want to be, it's very hard to go the extra mile. All right. We've seen narratives get destroyed. We saw that with Jimmy Butler. Terrible teammate, whatever. Came to Miami, very awesome teammate, and ended up leading them to the finals in the bubble. Right. So that narrative shifted. We saw, Christian Wood. We all saw everyone who was, a bad locker room guy, whatever. But if you're consistently going to teams that are not just sucking, but literally towards the bottom of the league, it's very hard, in my opinion, to get up for games. So I don't want to use that the narrative that DeAndre Ayton's not a worker. However, the thing that makes me more hesitant is he's not consistent. And we saw games where literally Dwight Powell held him down. And for a number 2, that's not something I want to see if he's coming into the Mavs. It's not. But I am looking forward to what King has to say.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
you good, brother.
Especially when that guy is making 30+ million. He's on a max contract, and you're looking to make 32, maybe 35 by the end of his stint here. So that's the biggest concern right there.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, he's essentially the number 2 guy in Phoenix right now. And with what Booker hurt, what are we seeing from the Suns with a better team around their guys? It's not a whole lot of success. So is that someone you'll want to spend the assets on? Let's hear what someone who would probably want to in Kings. I'm actually looking.
Yeah. Go ahead, King. What you got, man?
I strongly disagree with y'all. I think if the Mavericks has a chance to go up to DeAndre Ayton, they should do it like not now, but right now, as Rel says. I think if you bring DeAndre Ayton in here, he's probably the best center the Mavs have had like ever already, off top. I think 15 points, 12 rebounds is enough when you can DeAndre Ayton. I think y'all overthinking it. I think about the deficiencies the team have already. The team needs somebody that can rebound, stop possessions, somebody that can defend at the rim, somebody that can score at the rim. DeAndre Ayton can do all of them. I think when he comes over here, I think it'll be a different change of scenery. I think Jason Kidd will get him the best version he can be. I just like, especially if you can keep a Christian Wood beside him. I think so. The issue isn't Luka staying off the court; it's Luka's workload being eased up while he's on the court. So if you have a guy like a pick and roll between DeAndre Ayton or a pick and pop with him and Christian Wood, either or being on the floor, I think that's an amazing combo. I think if you started a lineup with those two, Dodo, Josh Green, and Luka, you can get Luka when they double and trap Luka. You pass the ball to Josh Green, he can play pick and roll with the same two, or do what he's going to do, either one of them. I think it's like the piece of the Mavericks is not offense. It's like I always tell Rel, ending possessions and stopping somebody at the rim. DeAndre Ayton can do both of those. He already can do them well enough for Phoenix. If he can get even better with us, I think he's worth it. I think you go right after him. I think that post-up stuff is stuff KP wanted to do. A lot of players don't want to post up. I know Luka loves to do it, but even Joel Embiid is talking about not posting up. Dwight, I don't think Dwight Howard was considered like soft. He didn't post up. Like, you don't have to post up, I don't think, to be a player that's not considered. It's just a different NBA. So if he's not asked to post up and you're telling him to just pop or just roll, as a DeAndre Ayton guy that's going to get you 15 points to the big man and, like I said, 12 rebounds, that's amazing, especially if you can keep Christian Wood beside him doing what Christian Wood is still doing. Because And plus, right now he's a number one on the team. I think. Like Chris Paul isn't a number one or number two right now. He's fell off the earth since we got rid of him in the playoffs. That whole Dwight Powell stopping DeAndre, and then we watched Dwight Powell in the playoffs last year. Let's stop playing. DeAndre Ayton is just not playing this year and not wanting to play for the Phoenix Suns. He didn't want to go back there. He thought he wasn't going to go, and it is what it is. They're already talking on the bench and all. He doesn't want to be there at all. Now, he may not have the work ethic as other players. That's fine. Like Luka and all, we know he has great work ethic, but he's sometimes a diva. But I just think, like I said, if Christian Wood was said to be that type of guy before he came here and he came over here and did all the right things, and Jason Kidd was able to get a lot out of him like Christian Wood, I think you guys underrating him as a defender as well. I think he did the best he could do with the lineup that they had out there and all the players they had. I think he was a big reason we won the game against the Lakers defensively. I think he's had defensive moments where he's been huge defensively for us. Getting what he had, it was 8-9 games in a row when he had over 2 blocks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So he was on a roll, and then right after that gave you the 5-block game against the Lakers. So I think he just hadn't played with the whole consistent lineup or knew his role from the beginning of the season to actually be seen as that. But his defensive numbers are actually good. Christian Wood is one of the best as far as analytics, as far as going at him and attacking him and him stopping points at the rim. It's just the issue of the other guys just not playing their role, and maybe guys actually becoming falling off a cliffs a little bit, i.e. Reggie Bullock, i.e. Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, they're just getting older after running 40 minutes a game in the playoffs last year and getting exposed a little bit on his defense. But I just think DeAndre Ayton, to go back to him, would be an anchor in the middle, like something the Mavericks just don't usually have other than a Tyson Chandler. And then with Donaldson back in the 80s, like, the Mavericks never had that. You get him an anchor out here, somebody that can stand in the middle, stop possessions, and finish at the rim easily. Like, it'll make everybody else a great defender as well. Like, not just like Luka Doncic will look better defensively, especially if you have Christian Wood and DeAndre Ayton together. Like, I think you can get rid of everybody else, get rid of the first round picks, and then build from that 5-man lineup I just said to you, and you'd be okay with that. I don't think because Luka being the A++ player, like we say, you don't have to have guys that are A++ beside him. Like DeAndre Ayton and Christian Wood are both can be B+ players, both of those guys, which makes it like a big 3 in a way, or even like a big 2 if you want to. Kind of like the way Giannis is with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday or whatever. Like, they're not Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday aren't considered like A++ players. They're just seen as decent all-star line players or whatever like that. Not even all NBA players. So you get Luka, these 2 guys that can help him hold it down. I think it'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, everybody has some great points, man. Let me go ahead and touch on a few things. I'm probably the opposite of my partner here. We talked about this yesterday. I'm leaning more towards Jose, what he said, but I'm probably going to touch on, probably lean further more than what Jose said. So, I'm just going to say it straight up. I told King this yesterday. I think Ayton is soft. I said that. You've seen, I know King brought up the fact that, he doesn't want to be there, but we didn't hear about him not wanting to be there until last year. He's been there 5 years, right? So that doesn't exclude the other 4 years that we didn't hear anything about him not being there. So we can make the excuse of him not playing hard or whatever for last year. Not last year, in the playoffs, because they had the number 1 seed and we didn't hear nothing about this. So from the playoffs to now is when we're starting to hear, he doesn't want to be there, right? So like I said, that doesn't exclude the other 4 years that he was there. And like I said, it's the inconsistencies. The guy is making, what Jose said, he's making 30-something plus million. Now, if you talking about a guy making 30-something plus million, we're talking about a guy that is a true superstar level player. That's the same issue that you said. What?
He's Chris Bosh.
He's Chris Bosh. But Chris Bosh. Would you say so? You saying he's better than Chris Bosh?
I didn't say he's better than him, but what I'm telling you right now is that he's never been able to be number 1. He's been Chris Bosh.
But my thing is,
Chris Bosh was a mother.
He wasn't over 20 a game in Miami.
But
he did when he was in Toronto, though.
But it's different roles though. Ayton never been a number 1 yet.
He's number 1 now.
He's number 1 now.
And they're fighting for a playoff spot as a big man as a number 1. Like Shaq couldn't do it by himself. Kareem couldn't do it as a big man. Y'all like big men can do that. Big men can't do that. That's big men never do. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you got anything else you want to add? So I can get my stuff.
He's fighting with 500 right now, and you saying Christian Wood can't win 1 game without Luka Doncic, but we're talking about him differently. Okay, but go ahead, continue.
One was the number 1 overall, and the other wasn't drafted. But yeah, so like I was saying, so you talking about a guy that, like I said, inconsistent. You were the number 1 pick. You're supposed to be one of the faces of the franchise, and we're having these talks about you, but everybody else behind you, the Lukas and guys like that, we don't have these type of talks about you. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a guy who they're questioning his work ethic. Now, mind you, you've been there 5 years. These rumors about him not being able to do his work ethic or not wanting to be there was only started in the playoffs and now. That doesn't exclude the first 4 years he's been there. So I don't want to pay a guy who's inconsistent. You're questioning his work ethic, and to me looks soft paying him $30+ million a year, because we just had a guy in here not too long ago in KP who we had these same questions about. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't think the difference was he couldn't stay healthy. And like, I don't want to be paying a guy. I don't look at him as a number 2. If you're paying him that much, I don't see him as a number 2. I'm sorry. Is he solid? Yes, he's solid. He is. But I don't think he's worth what he's been paid for and being a number 2 on this team. That's my opinion. But what you gonna say, King? Go ahead.
Hey, I don't. 15. What do y'all want from a center from the Mavericks? That's all I'm asking. Like, so if we had Tyson Chandler right now, you guys wouldn't be happy?
Why not?
I'm very happy.
You'd be very happy.
Hold on. Matter of fact, somebody in here just had. I just saw a comment in here, man. Let me find it. I can't find it right now, but this guy had a great point.
I would be very happy with the Tyson Chandler type on this team, but Tyson,
Tyson Chandler.
Matter of fact, didn't me and you just talked about this a couple of shows ago, King? We talked about the boy from Utah, the center from Utah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a very solid. Oh,
the center from Utah, Kessler's not better than DeAndre Ayton.
I didn't. Nobody said he was better than DeAndre Ayton.
So what?
But you saying you talking about a Tyson Chandler type of center? They have the same sensibilities together, right? Are you defense and rebound? That's all we want you to do. Play defense and rebound. What's our main issue right now? Defense and rebounds.
So you don't think DeAndre can play defense?
I didn't say he couldn't play defense, but for you want to pay him $30+ million?
He's a great defender right now.
How much is Kessler getting paid right now? I know he's a rookie, but how much he getting paid? And yet he has the same type of impact.
I don't think we watch enough Suns games. Maybe DeAndre Ayton is not a bad defender at all.
No. Who said he was a bad defender?
Hold on. He's not a bad defender first and foremost, and secondly, like if he's a Maverick, he's probably a top 5 center in the NBA. If he's a Maverick, he'll probably be a top 5 center in the NBA.
Is he worth $30 million, King?
Yes, he will be. The same way JB wasn't worth $30 million. The same way Christian Wood not gonna be worth his money. Okay, at some point you got to pay your money and stop being cheap. The issue is you got bad contracts. It's not about paying these guys their money. DeAndre Ayton should be paid $30 million. That's a regular max contract for a number 3 on a team made it to the championship. Yes, he should be worth $30 million.
I don't think so. Go ahead, Rolo.
Yeah, something I wanted to add real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, but $30 million is whatever now, right? I mean, the salary cap is going to go up, right? So $30 million is going to be, maybe it's going to be a cheaper contract, moving forward. So like, Ayton right now is locked in to 30 or whatever, 30, 32, 34, 36, whatever it is. So maybe at that point in time, if you trade for him, then maybe you're going to get, if he comes to the Mavs, like to King's point, right? If he comes to the Mavs and he becomes a better player here because Jason Kidd gets the most out of him, because Luka, playing with Luka, maximizes everybody's value, right? Then maybe he becomes a quote unquote steal, right? We're looking at it in a vacuum as $30 million is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not, but like I said, in 2 years is when the negotiations go up with the what's it called?
CBA.
The CBA. So the money's gonna go up. So go ahead, King. Sorry.
I'm just saying, dude's making 60 right now, Rolo. Like it's getting to a point where guys are making 60. I think Joker's making 60, right?
Yep, something like that.
Now Damian Lillard making like 60 mil, like 30 million. You gotta pay guys their money now, and I just don't know what. So what do you guys think DeAndre Ayton has to be due to worth that 30 million for you guys on this team? What's the numbers you would be like? Okay, DeAndre Ayton, give me this.
Can I point out certain things statistically that he's giving you right now? He's given the Suns 17.8 points per game, about 10.1 rebounds per game, and 0.7 blocks per game, right?
And that's not wanting to play. Mil. And that's not wanting to play at 30 mil.
And then you look on the other end, right? We got a forward that only played 42 games and only started 17, and he's averaging 18.4 points per game with 8.4 rebounds, and he's averaging over 1.3 blocks per game. And we're thinking paying him 4 years, $77 million, right?
Exactly.
No, hold up. No. He's not going to get paid that to TGK. The issue is that they're not going to pay him that. He's going to wait and probably try to get more.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like Christian Wood worth $30 million right now.
Is he not? Y'all just, that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to pay the man. I would pay him. The same way I would pay Jalen Brunson last year. You got to pay him, yes.
God,
or let him go.
I'd much rather that forward.
And let him go then. Then let him go. And then wait for the next guy. Swing for the next guy. We're going to keep swinging for the next.
Go ahead,
Jose.
King, you asked a good question. You said, what do you want from DeAndre Ayton? We just heard his stat line. Mm-hmm. But right now, I just seen an alert of Walker Kessler, who put up 17 and 14, and he's on a rookie deal. Nick Claxton right now, he's borderline defensive player of the year and on his rookie deal. And like, I want my center to be borderline defensive player of the year, and DeAndre Ayton is not in that conversation.
Okay, so that's what the center has to be. So any center we get got to be borderline defensive player of the year.
Yes,
if you get paid that much, yeah.
Because like, if you talked about Tyson Chandler, when we look at that 2011 Mavericks team, you had a lot of defenders around him. But if you do get DeAndre Ayton, you're probably sending out Dorian Finney-Smith. You're probably sending out Josh Green, and you're probably sending out Jaden Hardy, and then maybe another asset on top of that, and along with 3 other first-round picks. So right there, I just named Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Green, who are probably arguably your best defenders, even though Dorian Finney-Smith is not looking like that. Josh Green certainly is, though. But you're trading all of that in a package to potentially get DeAndre Ayton. And if DeAndre Ayton is not playing defensive player of the year defense, I'm not sure I could rock with that.
I don't think so. To give you a rebuttal, I don't think Tyson Chandler was exactly defensive player of the year that year. He was there with us. They gave it to him the next year or whatever, but he was on second team, so that was BS. But we'll talk about that another day. DeAndre Ayton, though, it's more important to have a defensive center than it is wings, just in general, in my opinion. If you got a guy that's a defensive anchor, you make everybody else around you better. Dodo and them had to play gimmicks. It's the reason KD called them out all the time saying, hey, guy, you can't play me one-on-one and all that, because that's not how Dodo and them play defense. They play on gimmicks. So if you got to get rid of guys that play gimmicky defense on the wing to get a guy that's an anchor in the middle, other guys, Luka will look better on defense. Like everybody, especially if you got a Christian Wood beside him and all, I just think, especially if you can keep a Josh Green. Say you get rid of Jaden Hardy, you get rid of everybody, you get rid of Spence. You get rid of everybody, but you somehow keep Christian Wood and Josh Green. I think that's a good enough lineup, as I said to you. DeAndre Ayton, Christian Wood, whomever, Josh Green, and Luka Doncic. I just think that's
question. My bad, King. Do y'all think we're a little bit jaded when it comes to finances because of Mark Cuban and how deep it's been?
Yes. Y'all, that's what I'm saying.
Do you think that impacts the way we assess players and contracts?
Well, I kind of look at it differently. So my overall thoughts on DeAndre Ayton is not necessarily that he can't play or he's not good or he wouldn't be a good fit on the team. Essentially, how I look at it is the price that we're getting him. I feel like, can we get someone else at the fraction of the cost, because that leaves us able to get other attributes that we need that are harder to find and use our assets to get that. It's not necessarily that DeAndre Ayton is trash, or I'm not trying to say that, right? But if we're spending 3 first-round picks to get someone whose production is being rivaled by guys who are on rookie deals, guys who are, late first round, second round picks, right? The way I look at it, right? Would you rather use your 3 first round picks and your top talent on your team outside Luka to get DeAndre Ayton, or to swing that to get a wing who can create? That's probably not excited about his situation, because in the NBA, literally there's a star every year that is not happy about his situation, that's looking to get moved, right? So the problem is, every time that's happened, we have never had any resources to even have our foot in the door when that happens. Now we do. Now we're having 3, 4, 5 first round picks. Now we might have some salary cap filler, right? So would you rather get that wing or whoever that can create for himself, and then swing another deal for like a Daniel Gafford from Washington.
I don't want Daniel Gafford.
Someone
We talked about that.
someone who's probably.
But we see what you're saying though. Go ahead. Yeah, go
not
ahead.
as talented as the.
No, we heard you saying though. Go ahead.
But he can give you some of the things that we're looking for that DeAndre Ayton can provide, but at a far lesser price. You know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from. It's because where we're at right now in Dallas is very crucial, and we cannot, excuse my language, sorry,
F up.
YouTube. We cannot F this up, right? Because if we F this up, we can't do a Minnesota trading 5 picks for Rudy Gobert.
Look,
and he let me do that now. We have lost Luka in the future. We've lost.
Let me come back to yours now. I think about the Zach LaVine thing all the time as far as getting a bunch of picks and going for like him. But I think about as well as what we go. So it's more than just the other player. It's what you're going to have to give up as well. So I think if we give up if we get Zach LaVine, they're probably going to ask for Christian Wood. Like, you feel me? That's what I'm thinking. They're going to say, hey, if you go ahead and wait for the offseason and go for DeAndre Ayton, you may not have to involve Christian Wood, which then makes that a double big man lineup behind you. That's what I'm thinking about. So you could go for a Zach LaVine or that type of player, but what is the OG Anunoby going to go for? What's his contract next time he gets a contract going to be? What you think? Is he going to be worth it?
Is he already asking for 3 first rounds? So you can just imagine.
Y'all saying DeAndre Ayton ain't worth it. I'm saying, is OG Anunoby going to be worth it? Whatever his contract's going to be?
OG will absolutely be worth it. And the reason why I say is because it's a wings league. You look at a lot of the superstars. A lot of the superstars are wings. You just
not anymore. The best players in the NBA are big dudes.
Yeah, it's only 2 though.
Yeah, it's Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid.
Well, yeah, Giannis.
But Giannis is literally one of the best two-way players in the league. Jokic is one of the best point centers in the league. Joel Embiid, he's a 20 and 10, and he's just with James Harden, which I think that pair is going to eventually burnt out. But Joel Embiid does good in what he's able to do, but that's literally the top of that's top 5 in the league. But then you start to get to Luka, which is basically a LeBron James, and then you got LeBron James, then you got KD, then you got Steph Curry. Then you have I'm trying to think who else.
You got the Tatums. You got
you got
Ja Morant.
You got Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown,
a lot of wings right there in your top 10.
Let me ask y'all this: If KP would have done what he did, right, and was efficient with it, would y'all be fine with paying the money you gave to him?
For KP, it was a lot about him not being able to set proper picks for Luka as well. That's something that Luka is very pet peeved about. If you're not setting a hard screen for him and you're not rolling hard, he doesn't want you as his starting center. JaVale McGee.
Yeah. But if he did it, Jose, if not even the picks, I'm just saying, just you as a Mavs fan, if KP would have gave you his numbers he gave to you and was shooting 50% and 40% from 3, would you have been okay giving him and being healthy? I'm sorry, let's not.
Being
healthy. If he was being healthy, giving you the numbers he gave to you efficiently, would you be okay with paying him $30 million?
Yeah. One, I always say this is not my money, but 2, also he would be a player that is producing very well. And then also we had to think about KP was an all-star when we traded for him. That was something that the Mavericks were banking on and getting in return as an all-star, but he just wasn't consistent. But in this case scenario that you just laid out, he does give you that production. Yeah, of course I would have been on board with keeping KP.
How far is DeAndre Ayton from KP's production with the Mavericks?
I think with Ayton has his potential peaked at the same time.
Why would it? It's after 5 years if Luka hasn't?
But it's the thing is all right, it's all his stats have been very similar. He hasn't had these performances where he's completely carrying the team on his shoulders, right?
He's been number 3, guys.
I know. And look, I'm not even knocking the idea of having him here at all. I'm not. Like, if you could get him for crumbs, like for Bertans, 1 first, and THJ, all day, sign me up. But the idea that we had to give up so many firsts, and on top of the idea of, first is, currency in the league, as Rolo always says, and we're debating whether we should send a first to go get Zach LaVine. I mean, why would we give 3? And on top of that, a Spencer.
And
I wasn't debating that.
No, and then on top of that, we talked about this, right? We talked about this on yesterday and the day before. It's like, look, we've had so many missteps with the Rondo trade, with the KP trade. Like, right now, you have to make sure with this trade. I feel like if you make this trade, we already don't have a full cupboard of assets and all this stuff already. So without the talent, the assets, the picks and all that stuff, bro, you have to make sure that whatever move that you make that's going to be on that level, you have to be damn near sure that it's going to work, or you're going to end up like Minnesota.
And you're right, but I'm saying to you, I'm asking you guys, how close is DeAndre Ayton to KP's production?
I mean,
KP with the Mavericks?
Yeah.
KP with the Mavericks, KP with New York, whatever KP you want to include. How close is DeAndre Ayton to it?
Yeah, it's not
in the
that
bubble.
far.
He ain't close.
Okay, you saying bubble KP? That's literally a unicorn. That's a unicorn. You right?
Obviously, he ain't bubble. He ain't bubble KP.
He's not bubble KP.
He's not bubble KP.
Literally a unicorn right there.
Yeah, that was KP right there.
Other than that KP though, how close is, like, efficiently? Isn't he more efficient than KP? TGK? You're probably looking at his numbers right now.
Yeah, because wasn't KP like 40?
KP's never been 50%.
Nah,
That's what I'm saying. He's a 50% guy shooting like 17 a game, 17 and 10 and 1 on 50% shooting as a number 3 big man that doesn't care. Can you if he was here in this system where he was actually able to show his worth and actually be with Jason Kidd and all, I just think we get the best version of him, like we've gotten the best version of everybody else that's been under.
That's the only thing that I will bank on.
Like, he doesn't have to post up. I don't need him to post up at all. Like, I don't need Ayton to post up.
Is he a great rim runner though?
He runs for Chris Paul.
KP is giving you 22 points per game this season.
I know. Losing team as the number 1.
The Suns are kind of a losing team right now.
Well, the Suns aren't as bad as. hold on. Listen, hold on. You're comparing. So KP is the number 1 that's getting to do bad stuff on a team that's horrible, and DeAndre Ayton is still fighting for a playoff spot. And you saying, well, we're going to say, like, that doesn't mean KP having a better season. KP's playing for a loser, and he's still not efficient. He's doing the same KP stuff.
I honestly think Kyle Kuzma is the number 1 in Washington.
There you go. Kyle Kuzma better than KP.
And Kyle Kuzma is the wing. Just putting
That's fine. I'm talking about KP though, Jose. I'm talking about KP, not Kyle Kuzma.
Brad Beal.
I'm talking about KP. KP production is what, 22 right now, and not under 10 rebounds again. Still around 8 rebounds.
Wait, what does he have the rebounds? TGK.
He's at 8.8.
8.8 rebounds. Still under his 10 rebounds. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and he can spread the floor. That's another thing too.
DeAndre can spread the floor. He's not a 3-point shooter.
Well, the other thing, King, also is we had KP here, right? Well, regardless of what it was, and he never rebounded at that clip or whatever, right? So if you, like, again, to your point, right? I mean, just trying to give you the benefit of the doubt what you're talking about. You know, if he was here, maybe he would play. You know, like you said, he wouldn't be expected to be the number 1. Luke, we all know that Luka would be the number 1, right? So as long as he could be a solid number 2 or even number 3, if we, like you said, if we had Christian Wood still here. All right, Christian Wood, Luka, and Ayton, that could be a pairing. Again, I go back to what's the package, right? So what are we giving up? If we're giving up 3 first-round picks, Dodo and Josh Green and Jaden Hardy, I'm not down with that, man. That's way too, for me personally. That's way too much.
Then you got more holes you got to fill.
Would you give up 2 though? If in the offseason you got 2 more to go get another player?
I mean, yeah.
That means that if you saying, King, what I think you're about to say, you saying flip Dodo and then get that extra one?
I'm saying get an extra one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, go get your extra one and then go play.
Because we'll have up to 4 if we denounce or whatever the protection on 2023. That means we will have 25, 27, 29. So we have about 3, and then we can flip a player for number 1.
but New York would have to play ball with that, right? So they would want something. They're not going to let you just renounce the
Well, this is Rolo.
Why would New York? Take away the protection so we can get.
Yeah, New York will want the protection away probably, but if it happens this offseason, it wouldn't matter.
We get them not with the top 10, they still get it.
If it happens this offseason, it wouldn't matter though because it would fall off either way.
Right.
And then we talk about that too, the fact that like you hear those rumors about them wanting Reggie Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll look out for you if you just take that protection off. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would you guys give 2 though? Would you give 2 and have 2 more for somebody else, another quality player that can play beside them?
2 and then what else?
So if you got to keep Christian Wood, Luka, Josh Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means we're shipping Spencer Dinwiddie
And Dodo maybe.
Damn, you let Spencer go for that?
I let Spencer go. I think we get a Colin Sexton in order to do Spencer Dinwiddie's role. Not maybe to the same extent, but like somebody like that to come be off the bench and play that role for us.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Anchor in the middle though.
I'm more willing to get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie than Christian Wood, to be honest with you. I feel like we can get more back for Spencer Dinwiddie.
We already have Spencer Dinwiddie. We have Luka. Like I need Josh Green. He's the wing defender, right? Then I'm just thinking about the team in general. I got my stretch guy with Christian Wood, and I got my anchor in the middle with DeAndre Ayton. Like we just build around that.
Can we jump into that crazy trade deal from ESPN today?
That thing is hot. Oh man!
Hey TGK, go ahead and read it off, man. Go ahead and read that trade off, man.
Oh, okay. I got you, man. So I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name to begin with. It's OHM, so I guess it's Ohm. Yeah. So I was watching this video, right, and I was like, oh, okay, the ESPN talking about the Mavericks. Like this is a good day, They're talking about trade ideas. This got to be a good idea. So this guy said, I'm proposing. Like he said it with the most confidence, and that's what really threw me off. The amount of confidence he had. Like he just found a deal for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, Bojan Bogdanovic, however you pronounce his first name, right? He said just him traded to the Mavericks, and the Mavericks send back Christian Wood, a 2027 first and a 2027 second. I was like, in what world? In what world?
I don't know when Bogey became that ridiculous.
Yeah, we got older. We got less assets.
Again, another guy though.
They didn't give him a first to get him in the first place.
But Rel, another guy that's putting up better numbers, career numbers on a bad team. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he's that dude. You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't take that.
Remember, we talked about that, right? We're talking about the fact that it's because there's so many teams trying to buy. The teams are trying to take advantage of the teams, right? Like, yo, if you want this guy, you got to give me 18 first-round picks for this 15th guy off the bench. It's like, what? Like when you got him, you didn't give him a first-round pick for him. So what are you talking about?
Anything, y'all need to send us first for sending you Wood.
Exactly.
Send them back to Detroit, but
bruh.
Have you not seen the way Wood played this year? Like
they are undervaluing Christian Wood, TGK, all over the media and all. Like I understand that he doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever, but like they're treating him like he's a nobody. And I'm like, I think
a lot of that had to do with the Mavs too, man. The way they use him,
the Mavs treating him like that,
Yeah.
Well, in his contract, right? So he's a free agent this offseason. So I mean, there's no restricted. He can sign with whatever team. Again, we could have another Brunson situation here.
Yep.
So you get that wink though from Christian Wood. That's what you got to get, that wink.
So we talked about it too, man. The fact that like with Jalen Brunson, I think me and King talked about this on a couple shows ago. We were saying the fact that Dallas, what they do is it happened with Dodo, it happened with Maxey. It happened with JB, just backfired. The fact that what they do is they wait until the trade deadline. Let's see what we can get for you. If we don't like what people are offering, then we'll extend you. They tried to do that with JB. JB said, nah, I'm just going to wait till the offseason. And, of course, like we said, it backfired on us. Yep. And we're scared that the same thing's going to happen with Christian Wood. Now, if I was Christian Wood, no, I wouldn't accept the 77, right? But for us not hearing Dallas offering it, that kind of raised a lot of questions. Like, so what is, like, I think Rolo, I think you mentioned it. Like, what's your plan? Like, me and King talk about this all the time. There's no direction. There's no plan. We need to understand what are y'all trying to do here, man? Because y'all get mad at us as fans for speculating because we don't know what to go off of. We're only going off of what moves or whatever that you've made in the past and trying to put the piece together ourselves to come up with an idea of what we think y'all are trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And so with the whole, Christian Wood thing, yes. Do I want him to stay? Yes. But if we can get something in return to help us, get better, I'll take it. But like King said, I don't want it to be to the point like we're just getting crumbs back for him. You know what I'm saying? Because Like the dude is very efficient. Like you said, when he's in the starting lineup, he's giving you 20 and damn near 10 and like 2 blocks a game or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you got to get something back in return. Like I said, if Bogdan, these guys can get 2 firsts, or we heard OG, commanding 3 or 4 firsts and all that stuff, bro. Like, can we get something for him if you're talking about doing it? But if not, let's go ahead and resign him.
On Van Fleet.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
We got to
look at scoring the little guards,
Yeah,
like KP.
For every trade I've seen, it's like we got to attach a first rounder to Christian Wood.
Well, I think that also has to do with the Gobert trade, right? So the Gobert trade screwed everything up. Everything all over the place. Everybody thinks that, and then the other thing is the play-in, right? So especially in the West, we got shout out to a friend of ours named KP. He calls it the Midwest because everything is mid. The Western Conference is mid. So
hold on, Rolo. I gotta do this, man. I got to do it. He the first one, King.
Shots.
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just the Western Conference is up for grabs, right? I think was it 1 or 2 or 3 game separates from 11th seed all the way to
up to 4, up to like 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody still believes that they're in it, and so I mean, I think that's the issue is that everybody's valuing their players too highly. I know we're doing it as fans for the Mavs. We think that. Like we were talking about, Christian Wood is worth, whatever. Josh Green is untouchable. Everybody's untouchable, right? Until it's time to trade. So let me ask you guys this question then: Would you guys take back what would be perceived as a negative asset to gain assets? Where do you guys stand on that?
That's a great question. Somebody asked. Shout out to Atlanta analyst from We Talk Hawks. He asked us that on the last show. He talked about the fact that, remember, that's how we end up getting Bertans on our team, right? Mm-hmm. We wanted Dinwiddie, but we had to take on that Bertans contract. Mm-hmm. People also don't remember when we got KP, we had to take on that Tim Hardaway contract. You know what I'm saying? And so,
are you talking about to like get back picks and stuff like that?
To get back picks, yeah. To get some to start building.
Okay.
To start building not necessarily a player, but I mean, if you're gonna have to move a player, get a player, whatever you have to do. Like I'll just throw in for instance out there, right? Let's say that they're trying. We work with Miami, which I would absolutely hate. But let's say bring in the Robinson contract.
I knew it.
But to get either like a young player like Jovic or a pick or something, would you guys be in it? I mean, again, that's just an example. Don't shoot the messenger.
No, we
that's the hardest example. But that 90 mil,
yeah, that hurts.
It hurts. But if you can move Bertans in the process, right? That's a contract was hurting. Yeah, us too in the process of.
Can't hear you, King.
King can't hear you.
I'm sorry, am I muted now? I was just saying we get another Bertans though.
Yeah, with 2 more years,
with more contracts. Yeah, so I wouldn't do that unless it's a 1 or 2 year rental thing. Rolo. Right. So say if like the person had like 1 year left, like I said, a Russell Westbrook right now, or like a player that had 2 years where next year he could be tradable to get something where we get maybe a draft pick or something in return and take that on. I'm fine, but like I'm not like I like Jovic, but he's not swinging the needle right now. Like Luka's too advanced for him, I feel like, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. The reason why I asked is because, again, I was talking about the plan, right? What's the plan? So if you guys are going, because, I mean, I'm going to bring up a phrase that everybody hates, right? Cap space, right? The cap space deal. If we can have cap space, the Mavs have had cap space before and then never did anything with it, right? So if you're going to do trades and try to get cap space and then never do anything with it, then what are we doing? What's the, so I'm just trying to see what the plan is again,
right.
Have a direction, right? So hopefully Nico and Kid and by extension Mark have a direction that they're trying to go to, man, because the thing about it is, like, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, we're on the clock with Luka. I hate mentioning all that other stuff, that relates to that. But I mean, Luka's, his contract is still for a couple more years. But I mean, if he starts getting unhappy about what the Mavs are doing, and let's be honest, man, and in this build when they could have maximized his, the time because he was on his rookie contract, they didn't do nothing with it,
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about.
And we said that too. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the Boyan trade with Christian Wood.
Oh, yeah.
Or Christian would.
Hold on, let me get myself sit. All right, go ahead.
And I just want to say this, like, we should not be giving up a first round pick for Boyan. He's 33 years old.
Say that one more time. How old is he again?
He's 33 years old.
Okay, gotcha.
I understand what Boyan is as a player. He's able to create his own shot. He's able to play make here and there. He's able to dribble it down. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be clean. He's able to dribble a ball.
Mhm.
But the thing is we can't be trading away these first round picks for a guy who's probably going to put us in a position to get out of the first round.
Yep.
Yes, we made it to the Western Conference Finals. Yes, that was one of the best times to be a Maverick fan. But the thing is, when you look at Golden State and you looked how they basically stomped the Mavericks, you're like, oh, wow, we don't have enough players who could dribble a ball. We don't have that center that we all want who could rebound and just block and do the basic things that a center needs to be able to do. I mean, we also needed a guy who could just create his own shot, but we're not getting all of that in Boyan. So why are we trading a first round pick for Boyan? And then also, if we trade a first round pick, okay, well, the team doesn't necessarily change too much. You're just adding another vet player who could do some of the things that fills in one hole, but yet we still have so many other holes to fill. And then we also need another point guard. I mean, we only have Dinwiddie and Luka right now, and then Dinwiddie right now, as it stands, is 1-1 with the Mavs. No, 1-5, 1-6 without Luka, as opposed to Jalen Brunson, who was able to, at least be 500. Right now, Dinwiddie's not even able to carry the ship, and that's because we need another point guard. But this it's just tiring hearing about Boyan being on the Mavs for a first round pick, and people are just like, he absolutely moves the needle. In which way, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Moves it down.
Exactly.
Moves the needle down.
What we gonna give up? What we gonna give up? Boyan. If we give up Christian Wood for Boyan, we're gonna lose athleticism and all. It's gonna be Boyan on the wing, slow with Luka. Like, man, no way. That's weird and crazy.
We got it. We have to find some way to get younger and more athletic, man. Around Luka, man.
We can find a way to trade Frank and Pinson and see what we can get out of that dude.
We need Cam Reddish.
A plan. Some people are not gonna like this, and I understand, because at the end of the day, Luka has all the power in the world, but Luka also has maybe realistically 2.5 years left on his contract before he could ask out. Yep. So what I've been saying, and some people have been saying as well, is like, you sell high on what you can. Like Spencer Dinwiddie absolutely has value right now. Yep. You talk about a player who's shooting 40% from three, who's able to create his own shot, and who's able to set up the offense here and there, because we all know he's not an exact true point guard, but he could work on the Clippers. He could work on the Bucks. He could work on several of these title contending teams who will probably say, hey, we'll give you a first, and we'll probably give you, an expiring deal or whatnot, because Dinwiddie next year, he's expiring, and there's no guarantee that the Mavs are going to be able to re-sign him, because right now, as it stands, we're in the luxury with Christian Wood. Part of the reason.
Finances.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how's the Mavs been so ass with their finances? The fact
that's that question all the time.
We're losing guys and getting no benefit from it on the financially.
Bro, we need to. Schools need to study that JaVale McGee deal.
God,
like I said before.
Well, you had a guy who was in the front office for 40 plus years, and they didn't do nothing with finances. I mean, his job was primarily the cap space, and he created some here and there, but there was no real market for Dallas, because nobody really wanted to come and play for the Mavericks. the main attraction cities are New York, LA, Miami. Nobody really wants to come to Dallas. And when you think about how Mark Cuban has constantly been pitching plan powder and such, it's like, why are we still going with the same rhetoric? We've seen that it doesn't work. At this point, you got to be self-aware and say, well, we got to build in-house. And one way you build in-house is
Draft.
you draft and you sell high on what you have right now.
Exactly.
Like Dorian Finney-Smith could potentially realistically go for a first-round pick. Like I said earlier, wings are real valuable in this league. If you give Dorian Finney-Smith up a potential first and, you know, maybe some young player as well, like a Jared Vanderbilt, and you package him up with Malik Beasley as well, I would be okay with that, but that's me.
I've said that, man. I've said that.
It might be a little bit difficult for the fan base because everybody's gonna be like, oh well, if you get rid of Dorian Finney-Smith, you're getting rid of, you know, Luka's homeboy. Well, Luka couldn't even get Dragic on this team, and Dragic is one of his best like dudes.
Listen,
like Dragic is one of his mentors, and we still couldn't get him on this team. So at this point, when do we stop caring about these relationships and start saying, well, look, nobody really wants to come to Dallas. We need to build in-house.
My laptop overheating while the fire you spin, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm telling you, listen, man, you preaching, bro. Me and King been talking about this for I don't know how long, but we've been talking about this, right? And I remember, I don't know if y'all remember years ago, this is like early Mark Cuban, when he said he didn't want to take the draft serious. He said that. He was like, yo, we keep drafting the back of the draft so it doesn't matter. And I told King, I brought up the example of the Spurs, right? The two teams with the most wins in the 2000s were the Mavericks and the Spurs, which means that you're going to beat the Spurs were drafting in the back of the draft. And what did they do? They took the draft seriously, which led them to 5 championships. We didn't do that because, we're not drafting the back, so nobody's going to be good. And yet I'm rattling off all these players in the NBA who are like all-stars and superstars and all-NBA players who were at the back of the draft if you just took the draft serious. Now, I give them their props now. They're taking it a little bit more serious now under Nico. But in previous years, they weren't doing that, and that hurt us. Like I said, once you emptied your cupboard, you had nothing to restock it, man, because you weren't taking the draft serious. I always use the example of the Lakers. That's how the Lakers ended up getting Anthony Davis. They kept drafting good players and all that type of stuff. You start packaging that, and then you can go get you an Anthony Davis or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, any other team who's done it. You know, it's like, I wish Dallas, man, like I said, it's all about the whole plan thing. And you're right, man. Like, the fact that, you know, we talk about this so many times with this team. The fact that, like, you know, they don't want to let go of certain players, right? We talk about, you know, Dwight Powell getting 155 different contract extensions. Maxi Kleber getting 155 different contract extensions because these guys are great locker room guys. You know, Dwight Powell is a community guy. Ooh, look what he's doing for the community. Everybody loves him. He's so smart, and everybody just loves being around him. It's like, but what does that get you, though? You've been with the same core for 5 years, and what has that gotten you? Luka literally had to go Super Saiyan 5 just for us to get to the Western Conference Finals last year. You know what I'm saying? With this group of guys that y'all continue to keep holding on to and giving contract extensions to. Like, you extending Powell and you extending Maxey, but you let JB go. You let Tyson Chandler go. You let Caron Butler go. You know, the list goes on. All these talented players that y'all letting go, chances are you're going to let Christian Wood go. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's why it confuses us. Now, me, I've been a Mavs fan my whole life, man. Since his birth, I've been a Mavs fan. So I've seen the ups and downs, and I'm for the team. I love the players on the team, but I'm for the team. And if you were to tell me that we can trade Dodo for a first round pick, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'm sorry. I like Dodo, but if you're telling me you have a chance to not only you can either trade and get that access to get that asset to get younger with that first round pick, or like King said, you could take that first round pick and add that to your treasure to go get somebody else and come here and help us right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at it. But this organization, mistakes, you say what?
They got to fix their mistakes.
Yeah, listen, and I know Nico is doing that right now. I'm not saying Nico's not doing anything. He's trying to do that, right? And I don't know. Maybe it's because he has his hands tied a little bit with Mark Cuban. I know there's a rumor going around that Mark Cuban might be broke or whatever the case is, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not touching that part, but I'm looking at it in the vacuum as a team. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen this same song and dance. We saw it with Dirk. I told King this a few shows ago. I said, man, we had the same issue with Dirk. It's just we lucked up on a championship, and because we lucked up on that championship, now Cuban can hold it over our heads. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey man, I don't think I like this roster. I need to do this and that and this. Championship. It's like, but okay, we did win that championship. Come back later. Well, you know what? Hold on, man. This guy don't feel the team. Championship. It's like, well, damn. Okay, I guess you're right. We did win a championship, but after a while, as the further you move away from that championship, it's like, yo, hold on, man. I don't like this roster. It's not fitting together. Championship. Now get that out of my face. We need to get this roster fixed because Luka wasn't on that championship team. This is Luka's team now. So whatever negatives that y'all are causing for this team, that's going to fall on Luka. You don't hear anybody criticizing Mark Cuban in the media other than us here in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? They're criticizing Luka. If Luka does not make it to the West Conference Championship this year, they're not going to say, oh, well, Mark Cuban didn't put a better team around him. They're going to say, well, Luka didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And like that's why I say, like, you have to come, like, Mark Cuban need to have a plan, bro. Have a plan. Don't just go off the cusp, man. Just like, okay, now we're going to do this. Like, no, have a plan of what y'all want to do. Like, do you want to rebuild?
Not only will the media blame Luka, they'll also try to, will their way to him to go to like some other place.
They're already trying that. They're
doing that now.
They're already doing that. They're trying to push it already. But
they're going to, when Christian Wood doesn't sign. Go ahead, Rolo. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
Go ahead, Rolo.
Something you hit on real quick, man. So you're talking about two different players that have two different temperaments, right? So Dirk, man, we love him, appreciate him, everything that he did, everything he stood for the Mavericks, right? But he was never that type of dude that would push the front office. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never did it. He never wanted to get involved. He would take discounts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he did everything that he could on that end to try to do what he felt he could, to try to help the team out, try to help Mark Cuban out. They didn't do right by him. Right, but Luka's not Dirk, and I think the quicker that everybody realizes that, everybody gets onto that game, they're gonna realize that Luka's not gonna wait around like Dirk did. Dirk kept Dirk also, was on the team when Mark Cuban purchased it, so they kind of came up together, right? So it's just a different situation all the way around.
They went partying together all over downtown Dallas.
Another thing too, Rolo. Another thing too about that. I think King brought this up before too. You have to remember when Dirk came in, nobody expected Dirk to be who he was at the end of his career. There's a lot of pressure on Luka coming in from the gate. He had a chance to be the number one pick. People still look at him as he's a number one type player. You know what I'm saying? And especially what he's doing as soon as he came into the league. So it's more pressure on him than it was for Dirk. Like, no disrespect, we love Dirk. I use this as you know what I'm saying? Like,
Luka's a proven winner.
Yeah. So like, you use the example, right? I think King brought this up before too. Like with Damian Lillard, right? If Damian Lillard doesn't win a championship, anybody killing him?
No.
So if LeBron didn't win a championship, folks was going to be killing him. If KD didn't win a championship, people were going to be killing him. It's different levels to it, right?
Either way,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
whatever.
If Luka doesn't win a championship, I'm guaranteeing you people are going to kill him. If Trae Young doesn't win a championship, nobody's going to kill Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in that tier with like a Damian Lillard. Like, oh, okay, he's good. If he gets one, that's cool. It adds to his legacy. But for guys like Luka and them that's on that level, what they saying about Jokic right now? Jokic, you got to get a ring. What are they saying about Giannis? You have to get a ring. Luka's on that level. If Luka does not get a championship, bro, that falls on Luka. That doesn't fall on Mark Cuban for not putting a better team around him, for signing Dwight Powell for the 85 different contract extension. No, it's gonna fall on Luka for not carrying Dwight Powell in his tenure. So
why do you guys think that the media doesn't cover Cuban? The rest of the media, like, I mean, I say we're people would call us like new media, right? Podcasters and people that are doing streams and stuff like that, right? We're technically new media, right? But why do you think the remaining, or the people that are around it, or that cover it, or even nationally that cover it, why do you think that they don't give him, or why do you think they don't harass Mark Cuban as much? Because I feel like he should be. I think only in the last couple of weeks where we heard, what was it, Jalen, what's his name, was talking about how the Mavs had Brunson.
Jalen Rose,
Yeah, Jalen Rose had Brunson. I mean, the Mavs had Brunson, and I think somebody else has been just started criticizing. But overall, I mean, Mark Cuban has escaped so much criticism for his lack of putting a good team around Luka.
That man is Houdini.
Yeah, it's just weird, man.
If it was like a more low key owner, it would make sense. But no, the fact that it's Mark Cuban, he has his own show and everything. He's very outspoken.
If and when Christian Wood leaves, it's going to be Luka Doncic's fault.
To answer your question, Rolo, when I heard the Knuckleheads podcast, like these two players didn't even play for the Mavericks, but they're revered at what they heard about Mark doing in the locker room in terms of building a gaming console, putting that in the locker room, just upgrading the locker room overall for his team. And then when people would go in there, they'd be like, oh, this is what you do. And then that was cool. And then also like Mark Cuban is giving like financial advice to like even a Spencer Dinwiddie, because Dinwiddie talked about it, like when they were blowing a team out, they just basically went on and talked about, finance, crypto and stuff like that. So I think Cuban in his own way has generated these friendships financially as opposed to kind of like genuine. It might be genuine as well, but Cuban has this influence, and then he's also a billionaire. He's also very open. He talks to fans here and there. So I think when it comes to the media and their attempts to talk about Mark, they feel more of a emotional attachment to Mark. And for us, it's easier to speak out against that because some of us don't have that emotional attachment to Mark. We don't know him for who he is, but we do know what's talked about when it comes to a headline, like when he's calling Kenyon Martin a thug, or he's saying how he would lock his doors and stuff if he's seen a person wearing a hoodie across the street. That's inner stuff, but it's also up to the people who are in Dallas to cover Mark better, because a lot of the radio stations, all they fucking talk sorry
team, go ahead, man.
But all they talk about is the Cowboys a lot, because this is a football city. This is the Dallas Cowboys. But at the same time, the media needs to get better here in covering the Mavericks, because you can't have Dirk and Whiskey and then still be like, oh, well, the Cowboys, let's go back to Dak and Jerry Jones and all that. No, let's talk about what Dirk did. He hit 30K in the game. Like, he set a record, and then you have Luka Doncic, who puts up the most historic triple-double, and then on the radio, it's like, oh, well, Luka Doncic, 60, 21, and 10. Okay, we'll talk about that for 5
Sound like 105.3.
Right. And then shots.
Exactly.
I would love to add to what Jose was saying there, because as someone that's lived in Dallas, right now that I moved away, which I'm gonna go back.
You better freaking come back. What the hell?
I'm hoping so. I'm waiting on this potential thing to go through, right? But yes, that's been one of my biggest gripes with the local media is 105.3 fans specifically. They never talk about the Mavs, and then I'll call them out on Twitter. I'll call them out on Facebook, because I follow some of the radio hosts, and they're, I think one of the guys, he's always like, well, it's about the numbers. It's about the numbers. I'm like, well, y'all are obviously associated with the Cowboys.
They make the numbers.
Yeah, you make the numbers, but yeah.
So, and I get all of that perspective, but also to layer it on another end, Mark Cuban and the Mavericks have been the most successful franchise sport team in the city of Dallas since I've been alive, right? Or since I've figured out that I like sports, and I like, in 1999, 2000, when I became a fan. Mm-hmm. So I missed all of the Cowboys Super Bowls. I don't know what those things are. What are those, right? Like,
right.
So the only thing that I've seen from a successful team in my city has been the Mavericks, The Rangers got close, and the Stars, right? The FC Dallas got close too. But your Stars and the Mavericks are the only ones that have brought some kind of hardware, and the Mavericks are just that lovable franchise in the city that, yeah, probably Mark Cuban has gotten a lot of wiggle room. Yeah, he's had a long leash from the local media, but knowing where we're at now, knowing that it's been over 10 years since we won the championship, knowing that, all right, we growing up now, we have higher expectations for this team versus the Cowboys. Like, if we lose in the playoffs, I don't even care anymore at this point. When it comes to the Mavericks, it's a little bit different. It's like we have one of the greatest potentially one of the greatest players on our team right now, and we're just like, it's like, we'll have another one, you know. And I don't like the mentality of it. I don't like the lack of urgency behind it. I don't even like the lack of due diligence from the team that they're doing. I don't like it. And so because of that, like I try to use my platform to put that out there because in addition to everyone else here, you know, because the local media ain't gonna do it. So it's like we need to speak up for our team because it's not just about Luka. Like, yeah, I would love for him to be successful, but it's the Dallas Mavericks first for me. And if we're successful, Luka in turn is successful, and then we have championships, right? And that's the ultimate goal.
We're toxic. We're toxic.
No, we put money in his pocket.
It's funny because the people who say Mavs Twitter is toxic, they be the main ones who are on there and using that as a source to create content. I mean, we're all content creators on our individual platforms, and it's like if you let social media dictate how you feel in a sense where, oh, I can't be on there because it's too much. It's like, I mean, I understand because mental health is a priority. But at the same time, you can't be complaining about, oh, Matt's Twitter all day, every day is just toxic. Well, you on there. You on Matt's Twitter complaining about Matt's Twitter. Like, it don't really make sense.
Let me go to this restaurant that I don't like and tell them I don't like them.
Right, exactly.
Oh, just don't go to the restaurant.
Let me keep ordering this burger that is undercooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
and then tell them I don't like the burger when I order it. It's like, no, I hear some good points, man. I just, like I said, I've been a fan since the Ross Perot days, man. I just,
damn,
wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Since Ross Perot Jr., man. You know, it's funny. I thought about this other day. Do y'all remember when Ross Perot Jr. sued Mark Cuban? Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there thinking, like, maybe he had a point for suing him because the lawsuit was that he was mismanaging the team. Mm-hmm. And of course, that was around the time we won the championships. He's like, oh, I got a championship. But it's just like, now I'm thinking about it, like, he might have had a point, bro. He might have had a point because you was out here mismanaging his team right now, man. The way you putting it, constructing it together and all that stuff. So,
bro, I got one player I want to get everybody's opinion on. What you guys think about James Wiseman?
I would buy low on him, just because there is a development factor there. I mean, he's not getting a lot of time in Golden State. Golden State, in my mind, is trying to win a championship. And when you have like Curry, Clay, and Dre about to be on their way out of the league, I mean, I feel like the Warriors are probably going to make a move at the trade deadline because they're closer than the Mavericks are. And it's crazy to think because you look at the standings and you're like, well, the Warriors are still in the back and the Mavericks are right here in the middle, but just
I think the Warriors are ahead of us now.
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
they might be like a half a game or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Well, they lost tonight too, so I mean, I don't know what.
Oh, it might. So he might be back down as under then. Okay, yeah, I think they were like half a game ahead of us or something like that. But hey, y'all want to get into some of these trade machine that people sent us?
Well, you said Wiseman, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna share really quick. We have a championship.
State's in 8th and Mavericks are in 5th. Just throwing that up there.
Oh, okay.
They lost.
We have a championship caliber center that we can send back for him if they want to take McGee off our hands.
He got a few of them things. Yeah.
He did play good. He did play good for Golden State.
I think James Wiseman can be what I just said. All that stuff about DeAndre Ayton for the low.
I think that
for the low.
I think that he could be better than Ayton. To be honest with you. Just give him proper time to develop.
And they didn't use him right. I told King I feel like they were trying to use him like what's the boy name that over there? What was the center name? King
Andrew Bogut.
Thank you. You're trying to use him more like Andrew Bogut, and it's not his game, man.
So the only thing that would give me a pause would be his injury, whatever his injury history is, because I think that's the reason. That's the other reason that he's been having tough times, with his development is because he's been rehabbing most of the time that he's been over there. So I mean,
and it's about consistency too, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that's for any young player. That needs some consistency to build. So
that's why you do it on the low though, because it's still like uprise there. He can actually still get better, I believe, and I think he would. I think playing with Luka, I think he could play pick and roll and pick and pop.
Mm-hmm.
So. And he got a little spin move as far as in the paint when he gets the ball. So I like
it to death.
Yeah.
When Enyi said, "Dang, you been a fan that long," it got me thinking of this.
Oh yeah,
exactly what I was going for.
See TGK over there showing gifts and all.
I know, right?
Yeah, he had the
one
earlier and all. Like you see that.
Hey, he got his own little thing set up within our show. I like that.
I know.
I like that.
I'm over here at the kitchen table and stuff, and
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have not put together any trade machine stuff, but I like to hear some. And
Okay, so shout out to what I say his name was King 17 Joe 76 sent us a few of these, man, and some other people too.
Don't ask me what his name is. Calling people Jose.
Thank you, King. Let's see. So the first one we got here, man, is the Mavs and Frank Ntilikina going to the Suns for Damian Lee. Straight up.
Who was the ones?
Mavs sent Frank Ntilikina to the Suns for Damian Lee.
Oh,
okay. Mavs would do it, but why would the Suns do it?
Yeah, why would the Suns do it?
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, the Suns. Damian Lee's making 1.8. Of course, this is last year, and then Frank is making 2. This is last year, so
yeah.
And unless they keep Frank at the 3-and-D position like he's supposed to, and not turn him into the point guard.
Hold on, say that one more time. What was that again?
3-and-D position, as opposed to the point guard that the Mavs are trying to make.
Who said this?
Nico and Mark Peter.
It would make
else said the same thing. I didn't know who it was. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's actually not that bad of a deal, and because they also have Jay Crowder who wants out, so I think that would be just a little move for the Suns, and it give the Mavs some type of depth at the point guard position. I like it.
I like it too. Hey, can we do Frank Pinson?
Yeah, noise of the tree.
Let me stop.
You're trying to get Pinson out.
Bro, I'm really listening to what he about to say.
You want Jay Crowder too? That's what you're trying to get in TGK.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to a way to get Crowder as well. Like
throw something in to get a Jay Crowder.
All right, man.
Who would you guys trade first, Jaden Hardy or Josh Green?
Depends what we're gonna get back. If we're gonna get back a player that's like a number 2, like a scorer, Hardy. If we're getting back a player that
like OG, you want to get rid of Josh?
Replaces what Green does, then yeah, Josh.
Are there a lot of players that can replace what Green does?
I mean, yeah, there are.
There's the most.
Green has
Green has the added wrinkle.
Let me start drinking, dogs.
Green has the added wrinkle of being a really good playmaker. Actually, he's
the second best playmaker on the team, I believe.
Yeah, but in terms of someone who can play defense, shoot threes probably at a higher clip than Green, and also probably create for themselves, I'm sure you can find someone that can replace him.
Somebody for the low?
Probably not for the low, because that's a high value. That's what high value traits you have.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's crazy saying that versus what we saw last year. Like, shout out to Green for turning it around, man.
Yeah, he had it last year.
Yeah, I was last year. I was all in for playing Frank before Green, because I was just at that time Frank was just a more useful player. Able to at least be competent in shooting a 3.
I guess Frank played too many minutes too.
Yeah.
And Frank never got the minutes. Ro wanted Frank to get those minutes too.
Last year, I wanted Frank to get those minutes.
No, it should have always been Josh Green.
Not in the playoffs, dude. In the
No,
playoffs,
not in the playoffs.
Okay, no, hold on. No. So not in the playoffs. You guys are right, but he should have been getting him earlier so that we could have seen him in the playoffs as well.
That's true, yeah.
Okay.
But when it came to the playoff time, remember, because what's his name was hurt.
We're not gonna act like Frank Ntilikina was huge.
He came in,
like it just had
later
nothing.
on. He came in later on the playoffs. I want to say probably even the second round.
The Sun series, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm about to say he helped us out in the Sun series.
Devin Booker,
Yeah.
shut down
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
I was like, he has to be playing in front of Josh. Yeah.
Suns in four.
Suns in four. Yep.
Suns in four.
Suns in
All
four.
right, man. Let's check this other one out here. So the Mavericks would get Rudy Gay, Jared Vanderbilt, and Cam Reddish from New York. So this would be a 3-team trade.
Okay, I was going
And
to
the
say.
Jazz would get Dorian Finney, our second round pick in 2099, and the Knicks would get Reggie Bullock.
2099. Go ahead.
Sorry, 2029. 2029. That'd be nice to get 2099.
Go ahead.
Hell yeah.
I'd never do that, yeah. But now 2029 for the Jazz, and then the Knicks will get Reggie Bullock.
Who do we get again?
Why would the Knicks?
Rudy Gay and Jared Vanderbilt from the Jazz, and we would get Cam Reddish from the Knicks.
Why would the Knicks do that?
Um,
I'm all for that for the Mavericks.
I mean, the Knicks do want Reggie Bullock. That seems to be the rumor.
Yeah, they want
Right.
Reggie Bullock back.
Yeah, that's
Bro, I
a
don't
good
know.
right
That's
there.
like that. That
That's
sounds
good.
like
I need a first round pick for Bullock.
on the low a little bit.
You said you want a first round pick, Reggie. Since
That'd be
teams is
Nah, since everyone's price is hiked,
I know, right?
we're elevating the tax hike. Shout out to the federal, government. They doing that, so why not the NBA? We got to raise the prices, bro. It's like eggs. They $9 now.
Y'all think our defense would still be the same, or will we take a step back?
Without Bullock,
look.
if we were to
I'm
get
Without Bullock and Finney Smith, you're losing both of them. You
I'm
get
okay
Vanderbilt.
with
Well, I mean, if you're getting Vanderbilt,
Oh,
back,
Yeah, you get Vanderbilt.
For me, it's all about asset allocation right now.
Okay, so you just want to get the assets. I got
want
you.
to get younger and
I am tired of hearing the Mavericks don't have enough to pull off any trade.
Yeah.
Right.
Hearing that literally, the vast majority of my Maverick fandom, I've been hearing that.
Like I do it as well. I mean, you get in Jared Vanderbilt back, then you're
Not
also
younger.
getting potential and Cam Reddish. You're sending out Bullock, who hasn't been able to protect the perimeter like he was last year, and then Dorian Finney-Smith, who's also just been struggling to get his legs back under them. Granted, we probably ran them guys into the ground in the playoffs, but that's the thing about it is like if we're probably never gonna see that again, why not go ahead and sell high and get those younger assets in the building? And then on top of that, we keep Josh Green. So you telling me our best defender is still on the team, and we adding a potentially second best defender in Jared Vanderbilt? I'm all for it.
And don't tell the other teams this, but you got more skill too, because we got guys that can actually dribble.
Oh yeah, you got more skill. I'm just worried about what the defense improve. You think, Enyi? And you're saying, you think Josh Green having more of a role, and also adding Vanderbilt would probably be a better defender. You're saying than Reggie Bullock and Dota. I agree.
Like we would say, TGK.
Oh no, I was just saying, like Green develops. I think Green has a bigger role next year. I think he just continuously develops. So my thing is, if you could keep him,
Green
you can
already
add
been-
all these assets around him with
He's
Luka.
He's already the best defender on the team right now. I feel like, other than probably
Did you
Max.
see him
Max
jump
comes
from
back.
one 3-point line to the other 3-point line just to get a ball? Like that was amazing, man.
That's Josh Green, man. That's what he does.
And
he's
he
one of the
soars
best
in
in
for
the ball.
offensive rebounds too.
Yeah.
Like we don't have enough guys who go out there and hustle, and Josh Green is one of the best hustle guys on the Mavs.
We're losing
great
our best offensive rebounder though in Dota.
But Josh Green also.
I'm messing with you. I'm being the mad fan that's gonna keep saying, but Dodo. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm good. Let him go.
As the mayor of Josh Green Island, man, I'm loving all the Josh Green love. Let me just,
I'm ready just to get a brand new squad. Like if it's just a brand new team and we just trying something different, I'm okay with that now. I just want to like Rolo said earlier, just some type of clarity, I should say, on what they're doing.
Are we gonna become mild sellers in the trade deadline?
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what Cuban wants to do. I mean, he's not going to get under the tax, right? But I mean, I think that he's going to make marginal moves or try to do something just to try to get off a little bit of salary and pay less tax, because we were talking about it earlier. Nobody wanted to say it, but I think he's crypto broke right now. So I don't think that he I think somebody said it.
Voyager
I don't know
deal.
in a group chat that I was in or whatever, that they said that he was complaining about how all the other billionaires can afford to pay, their players, and like some of them, that have been around, have been governors of teams for a long time, can't afford the same as like Ballmer and these, Laked Up and those other billionaires. So there is a disparity. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of ownership, whatever, whenever the negotiations occur. But I guess we'll see what happens there.
I mean, so you think Mark Cuban already knows he's going to lose Luka?
I don't even like putting that energy out there, to be honest.
I know it's horrible, but
yeah, I don't think so. Again, I know that he, we talked about it before. He loves talking a lot. I think he loves to hear the sound of his own voice sometimes. And so he's been on record saying that he would divorce his wife before he loses Luka, right? So, I guess he's got to go check with his divorce lawyers then, because I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
He's not going to the pockets.
Check this out. In reference to what Rolo said about Mark Cuban being broke, right? I did the math. The Mavericks are averaging $275 per ticket at the Mavericks games, right? That stadium sits anywhere between 16,000 to 16,200. I put it at 16,000. So you do 16,000 times, 42 times the ticket price. The guy is making about $185 million per season just at the gate. We're not even talking about merchandising. We're not even talking about the deal that he got with whoever broadcasts the games, if they're bankrupt too, I guess. And we're not even talking about the jersey sales. We're not talking about all these other things. I don't know how he's broke or why he's so cheap.
The playoff revenue too.
Playoff revenue.
Yeah, and something about the playoff revenue that I kind of wanted to touch on as well. When we think about Mark and what this trade deadline could mean for the Mavericks, I think Mark is going to do whatever he can to keep the Mavericks competing and get that playoff revenue, and then just go into the off season with we're just kind of going to trade everything and see what we could get back.
If we're going for cap space, who are we going for? That's what I don't know. Like, I'm like, who is the player that we're looking at right now?
Westbrook.
If we're going for cap space, now I'm not going to answer for Mark, because I don't know what the hell he's thinking. But if I'm running the Mavs, and if we're going to, I don't think they're going for cap space. It's more, I think the move now is asset allocation. But okay, whatever. If we're going for cap space, I think throw your hat in at Jeremy Grant. He's going to be a free agent this year.
They wanted they wanted cap space for 2025, and I looked at the free agents for 2025, and Giannis is right there at 2025. So
when I tell you, I was in there. I was in that hashtag Giannis to Dallas thing so hard.
It was close. I feel like it was close. I think that was close.
He was. They were saying that had they not made the moves for Middleton and for Drew, he would have definitely left the team.
If that would have happened, I don't know.
Definitely tonight.
But if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk, right? So,
it would be done. Like, we'd be drunk every day because they'd be like 80-2.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be a very unstoppable pair.
Yeah, like that'd be done. It'd have been a decade. They'd have won like 8 out of 10. Not 1, not 2.
All right, man. I got this trade here. It's 14 trade. Somebody sent us
14. Wow.
And it's a lot. So
how does everyone even construct that?
That I don't even know.
I see a 14 trade deal coming. I see it.
So here we go. All right. So the Bulls would get Derrick Rose from the Knicks. They also get Bertans, Tim, and Dwight from us.
Powell
and. Trying to see what this is. I don't know.
Sign me up. I haven't heard the whole deal, but sign me up.
The Bulls get those guys. All right.
Yeah, and they get the 26th first round from the Kings. They get our 25th first round, the Kings 23rd first round, our 27th first round, the Kings 23rd first round, and our 25th first round. So they will get. Our 22nd, our 25th second round, our 25th first round.
This is the Bulls.
This is what the Bulls get, and then they get. They get the 23rd and the 23rd first and second pick, and they get the 26th first pick from the Kings.
Okay.
Okay, and what we get?
We get Goran Dragic, DeMar DeRozan, Andre Drummond, Rashawn Holmes, and Cam Reddish.
What do the Kings get?
They're gonna get Zach LaVine.
The Knicks will get Reggie Bullock and Kevin Huerter.
Okay.
The Kings will get Vucevic, Alex Caruso, and I don't know who this person. I think that Justin Holiday. I don't know who this person is.
Why would you have Sabonis and Vucevic?
Man, we got older with that trade.
And they would keep LaVine.
Yeah, the Bulls will keep Levine. They don't have Levine on here.
I'd rather. I'd do the trade if they had LaVine involved instead of.
And I don't see Sacramento giving up Kevin Huerter.
Wait, who do the Mavs?
You know what? I do the trade either way.
Mavs get DeRozan.
We get DeRozan, Goran Dragic, Andre Drummond, Rashawn Holmes, and
yeah, I'm like, you know what? I do. No, I can't. We're losing all the first round picks. I can't do it. We're losing.
We getting older.
Yeah,
we give up
everything. It sounds like he said.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody.
We would give up our
that's a championship trade right there.
Our 25th first round, our 27th first round, and our 25th second round.
Ew.
I would do it for Zach LaVine.
If you switch desperation,
if you switch LaVine with DeRozan, I'd do it. I'd make the trade if you switch LaVine and DeRozan.
And on here they say we can waive Theo Pinson to save 1.9.
Because we keep Josh Green, right? We didn't trade him either, right? You didn't say nothing about Josh Green. You didn't say nothing about Christian Wood or Spencer Dinwiddie, right?
Just Tim, Bertans, Dwight, and Reggie Bullock.
You changed DeMar DeRozan for Zach LaVine. I'd do it.
Like, yeah, you know.
I'd probably do that even with DeMar DeRozan.
That's what I was thinking of at first, Enyi. I'm like, would I give all of it up? Do I think that's championship right now, though? Because again, it's a championship move.
Yep. You get your back. You get your third. You get your
I don't trust
third.
DeMar DeRozan, man.
One guard.
I don't trust
number two.
You're just out of picks. You get older.
Yeah, I don't trust DeRozan, man.
You don't trust DeRozan for what?
DeRozan?
I just don't. He fine with a midi, but I want him shooting threes too. We got Luka Doncic
right now. I want buckets when it comes down to the playoffs.
So I want Zach LaVine. That's what I'm saying. I want Zach LaVine.
I got you, but if you can't get him because Zach LaVine has 5 years on his deal, I ain't just go trade that for anybody.
Yeah, DeRozan got 2 years.
Zach LaVine,
imagine a
What's DeMar DeRozan doing right now, though? Is he really like? All right, I know we're going off of like last year, and he got almost an MVP. Is he really that great this year?
Well, it's not saying he's that
better
great.
than every single person on this
Luka will
roster
make the game easier for him.
I don't know, man. Would he fit the team? Would he fit the team better than Dinwiddie?
Dinwiddie could come off the bench.
Would he fit the team better than Dinwiddie?
Yes.
Now I'm not gonna say he's better than Dinwiddie. He's better than Dinwiddie. He is. I'm asking you, would he fit the team better than Dinwiddie?
That could work. I'm gonna make that could work.
I don't like the DeMar DeRozan mid-range stuff.
I'm gonna try it in 2K right now, and I'll let you know.
Because I think he needs to shoot threes with Luka beside him. Like he's gonna get too many easy, wide open threes. He's
shooting threes at a respectable clip, so the no one's not gonna just.
No, I don't want respect. I want a guy that's gonna make all the wide open shots.
You want someone to shoot threes because you don't want them to just come off Luka when Luka drives, right? You can't do that with DeRozan though, because DeRozan can't shoot the three.
Dang, DeRozan shooting at 31%.
He's respectable with it.
What he shoot? He said 31% from the three.
And he's
but Luka passes the ball with like 4 seconds left.
In terms of Kawhi and Chris Paul, in terms of midi game.
But Kawhi and those guys shoot the three better than him, though. That's why.
That's
like,
fine.
I would take a pause.
Everybody got a week. Everybody.
I just think his weakness is if he 4 seconds. My thing with him is if it's 4 seconds left on the clock and Luka's passing the ball to him at the 3-point line, he can only do so much.
He can
drive
you can drive and pull up, but it's like
4 seconds is a lot of time in basketball, my dude.
I got you. I'm just saying that it'd be better if you had somebody that can make wide open threes, though. Like threes are more than twos.
He can make a wide open. He went
5 of 5 against the Magic.
He went 5 of 5 and still shoot 31%.
When it comes down to the playoffs, I need buckets. I don't want 3-4 minutes going by with our team not putting points on the board. And that's what happens if you're chunking up threes 5-6 possessions in a row. We have those droughts. Yes,
you should
change up really fast, but psychologically, buckets does something to you.
Yes, you should change the offense. But what I'm saying is, like, even last year, Jalen Brunson, the weakness that made his game kind of clash with Luka Doncic is that he wasn't the greatest 3-point shooter. So it's like when you're not that great 3-point shooter, it hurts because you can't make wide open set threes. Like I just feel like Luka holds the ball and sometimes he gets caught up under the rim and he finds you for a wide open shot. I just want a guy like Zach LaVine that is a shooter as well that can knock down a wide open three. I'm not saying DeMar DeRozan wouldn't be awesome. It's just change the system.
If you're willing to give us Zach, yes, I will take Zach.
But
I take DeMar. I was already saying. Remember, I said I take the trade, and I had to think about it for a second. I still think that's better.
If we're taking DeMar, I would like it, but I don't think this deal gets done anyways. But
no.
That's beyond the point. But DeMar, what he does in the mid range is very valuable. I mean, that's another reason why we had success in the playoffs. What Jalen Brunson was able to do, he was able to penetrate. He was able to get to his post spin and then make those shots. And that's something that the Mavericks really don't have this year, which is why we're so heavily three ball dependent this year, and we literally living and dying by the three, game in and game out, or we're living by Luka go ultra instinct and go and put up 53 against the Pistons and we'll win. So
I don't think that. So the mid range game is nice, and I think somebody should be able to do it.
It's not.
I just think like
it is valuable.
No, it is valuable. It's very valuable. Just listen to me. Zach LaVine can shoot. Zach LaVine can shoot mid-range jumpers. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying the mid-range shouldn't be the number one thing on your game with Luka Doncic being the guy that he is. I'm saying you should be a guy that can shoot mid-ranges, but you should be able to shoot the 3-point shot because Luka's going to get you wide open, uncontested threes, and threes are worth more than twos. So if I got Zach LaVine that's a shooter shooting 40% from three that I know can hit a wide open three. Why do I need him to even drive to hit the mid-range shot if he can make that 3 5 out of 10 times? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, no one's arguing with you.
I'm just saying as far as them
if that offer came on my table, I am fighting for 8 days to try to get Zach LaVine instead of DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
But
yes, I'll take DeRozan though.
Yeah. But if it's like, the 8th and we're like 10 minutes away from the deadline, I'm like, I did what I can. Give me the
Well, and I think the Bulls are going to try to get rid of LaVine anyway because I think that he's a malcontent right now there, Whereas I think DeRozan is fine. I mean, if they can get value for him, right? If they can get value for him and the Bulls aren't going to go anywhere, then I'm sure they're going to move whoever. But I think that the biggest thing right now that I'm hearing is that LaVine is the guy that they're going to try to get off of, right now. So then it's just a matter of who can offer him the best package. I know he wants to go to LA. That's the other thing, right? So he wants to go to LA, but LA ain't gonna be able to.
I think the Bulls
the package,
I think the Bulls are foolish though, Rolo, if they get rid of LaVine and keep DeRozan.
No, I mean I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
I'm just saying it. I don't think you disagree. I'm just saying I don't think nobody said it, but I think they'll be foolish because I think LaVine is younger. I think they're close enough in talent where you would go with a younger player and all. Like I don't know how much further DeMar DeRozan got to go. I think last year was his peak. Like I don't think he'll ever get better than he was last year. And I don't think Zach LaVine's the number one guy, but I don't think DeMar DeRozan's the number one guy either.
No, clearly not. But at the same time, if he's the malcontent, and if you're at the Bulls, timeline where you had your best shot when you had your big three of DeMar, Zach, and Vucevic, and all that got you was, first round.
First round.
Lonzo Ball, knees not looking too good, still feeling pain. You probably the rebuild stuff will probably have to start coming into thought.
Which is why they want to trade Zach LaVine because he has more years on his contract and he has more value.
He has more,
so it'll make more sense.
Yeah. So if he doesn't want to be there, so now I'm thinking about the DeMar DeRozan trade. If I'm going to do that, because will I want to make that trade and give up the 2 or hold on to the 2 first-round picks? Because I know there's somebody every year.
You giving up everything for DeMar DeRozan. That's what I'm saying. And you're like. Does DeMar screw getting 1? We got Luka Doncic. I don't think about just one championship. I know we got to get the first
so
one.
let's bring back that trade scenario. I'm like, okay, I'm cutting off the other teams
Mm-hmm.
and I'm focusing on the Bulls. If I can, if there's one first round pick for DeMar DeRozan and somebody else, I'm doing it. Okay, I will still have 2, maybe 3. I can move around some other things, maybe get rid of a Dodo, and probably get another first round pick back, and then try to build around that. But if it's Zach, that's where I'm getting into 3, maybe 4 because of the time he has left on his contract.
I have a great proposal for y'all. I'll probably put this in a poll tomorrow, but I want to ask y'all, since we live, we here, we already talking. DeMar DeRozan or Bojan, who would you rather give up a first round pick for?
DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan. You don't got to ask me that. We not foolish over here. DeMar
Are
DeRozan.
they both 33?
It doesn't matter. DeMar
They're
DeRozan.
both similar in age.
But DeMar.
One's been an All-Star, All-NBA player. The other guy,
a steady NBA player his whole career.
yes, but he ain't been no All-Star NBA
A
player.
world player. No.
Luka when we get DeRozan.
No, yeah, give him DeRozan.
But you give up one first rounder for DeRozan? What about 2? You saying 1 or 2?
No, just
I'm gonna
one.
fight my ass off for one.
Just
I'm gonna
one.
fight my ass off for one.
Okay.
2,
So you said, but you give the house for Zach LaVine. If it got you that trade, you didn't have to give anybody else up.
For one, who we trading though?
What he said, if you kept everybody else, TGK,
I'll give you
Christian Wood, Josh Green,
I'll
and all.
give you one, and I'm more. This is me. This y'all can be different. This is me. I'll give you Spencer Dinwiddie, and a first
for DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Or whatever salary cap I need to fill that.
But man, Spencer Dinwiddie's our best 3-point shooter right
And
now.
then I don't care. And then I want someone I feel like I could rely on DeMar to get buckets even when Luka is not on the floor.
But will he get other people involved?
I don't care.
Can I remix this?
How you gotta care? It can't just be.
It's not his job. I'll get another point guard to get other people involved.
Oh, well, we gotta get another point guard then. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I remix this deal? Can we send Spencer, Tim Hardaway, and Powell, and a first? I even give a second. You give me DeRozan, Goran, and Drummond.
I was gonna say that, TGK. I got another trade right here.
There you go.
The Bulls will get
that, but the foundation is definitely Spencer and DeMar.
You might not have to give them
I
up.
would try to get Devontae Green.
The Bulls would get JaVale McGee, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Powell, the 26th first round, and the 27th second round. And Dallas would get Goran Dragic, DeMar, and Andre Drummond.
Absolutely.
What?
Bro, that's not even a question.
Deal.
Yeah, that's not a question. That's absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell them, hey, don't give up on us too, because I might have some shit for y'all. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I might have some stuff later for y'all.
Bro, we didn't lose anybody offensively, and we gained DeMar DeRozan.
Hey,
We didn't
Ro,
lose
is that,
really
is that
anybody.
trading Tim Hardaway Jr. away or no? That's
Mhm.
trading Tim Hardaway. Okay. Because, I mean, how do you guys feel about that deal that was reported, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago that the Mavs were in talks with Cleveland about sending Tim Hardaway Jr. over for Karis LeVert?
I mean,
LeVert got less years, so yeah, I'll take it.
yeah, that only
He's probably less inconsistent than Hardaway is.
Yeah,
I'm not sending no first round pick or nothing. Though.
No. I'm just saying straight up. They were talking about straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. I do it straight up.
Straight up. So, because I think that LeVert, like in the system, right, and with the Mavs, with Luka and with Spencer, assuming, I think that he would fit in as kind of like the sixth man, kind of like, again, someone that a facilitator when you need the facility, and he can do the middies, and I think his 3-pointers are down this year, but I mean, I think that he would. I'd love that trade if the Mavs if they were serious about that, man. I'd love that trade because it would be moving on from Hardaway and getting LeVert.
Yeah, I wouldn't fear LeVert running on a break as opposed to how Tim Hardaway.
There you go.
The 1-on-3 break from
That's what I was going to say. He can dribble the ball, Rolo. That's enough. Like, just switch it up and try somebody else because there's nothing that Tim Hardaway Jr. does consistently. There's nothing that he does consistently. I can at
he's
least say,
consistently inconsistent.
exactly. I can at least say Karis LeVert can dribble the ball consistently. You feel what I'm saying? Like he has something he can do where I'm like every game
we
he
got
can
the
dribble
same.
the ball. I know he can do that. I don't know what Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to do any game. Really.
You got the same tag. Yeah, we do.
I think we have the same.
No, mine's a little different.
Oh no, yours more official. My name.
Man, here's another trade. Another trade of a player we just talked about a minute ago. So Dallas would get Damian Lee, DeAndre Ayton. The Suns would get Tim Hardaway, Dwight Powell, Jaden Hardy, the 28 first round and the 26 first round.
Second one is
Who do we get? Damian Lee and DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre.
And you say only 2 first round this time? Who we give up?
We're giving up Jaden Hardy and who else?
Tim Hardaway.
Are we giving up Hardy?
You said Hardy and Hardaway for Ayton and Lee and 2 first round? I'll do that one.
Wasn't it somebody else or no? Was it just?
Yeah, it was Tim Hardaway, Dwight Powell, and Jaden Hardy. 2 first rounds for Damian Lee and DeAndre Ayton.
I need a first back for Hardy. Look, if I'm on that negotiation table, I'm gonna be like, "Look, this is a future star right here, right?
Yeah.
He's a natural born talent. Like you need to send us something back. We'll send you the 2.
Talking about his high school rank, he was the number 1 ranked high school player.
He should have been the first round.
That's less first rounders though. Isn't that less first rounders than we talked about last time?
Huh?
It was 3 first rounders the first time, right? We talked about DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
That's less.
I don't think I would do it, and reason being is because Jaden Hardy's probably going to be Tim Hardaway Jr.'s replacement. He's going to be Jaden Hardy Hardaway Jr. So like we need a player who is confident in shooting the ball, and with that we're not getting anything of that magnitude back. We're basically going to be nickel and diamond with Damian Lee, and then we're going with DeAndre Ayton. And then also we do need a backup center. Who's our backup center? JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee, what you
JaVale
mean?
McGee's not even the backup center now with all our centers.
JaVale McGee.
Oh, balling, bro. What are you talking about?
But hold up, Jose. Would you
seconds,
find
man.
if we got Karis LeVert with that one though? If like we found a way to get Karis LeVert and we traded away to Jaden Hardy and Dwight Powell and Tim Hardaway Jr. and got that trade back?
Oh damn, that's a little bit harder. Well, Karis LeVert is expiring, so the Mavericks would have to extend him. And in that case, I'll probably be willing to do it a little bit more. But the first trade, I'm not.
Y'all hate Ayton. That's fine. I'm not a big Ayton fan either, but I think he'll do great with us though.
All right, they got this.
But it's kind of like running back to the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. They devalue the center position.
Someone that can do 80% of what Ayton can do at 10% of the
price.
James Wiseman.
So he's a Zeke Elliott now.
That's
James, why you get James Wiseman? So I told you.
Zeke Elliott is you pay 150% of the cost for 10% of the production.
But I really think we can play with like a huge lineup though because of Luka Doncic's size.
You can.
So I think we can have if you give him 2 big men.
If I'm running the Mavericks, that should be the goal.
If you give him 2 big men that are like utility knives that can do a little bit of everything, like I think you saw what he did with Mike Tobey in the national games or whatever it is. Like like I think if you play with Christian Wood and DeAndre Ayton, and like I don't even think they have to stand in each other's way because DeAndre Ayton can shoot a little bit, he can give you an 18-footer. And like I said, Christian Wood can do both as far as popping and rolling. Like I think that'd be an awesome 2-man, big man lineup. If DeAndre, exactly, and then you got Maxey off the bench. Like maybe you can extend Rel favorite center for your third center, Dwight Powell. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know. You still got to find a backup center though. Maybe you can trade JaVale McGee back to them. Maybe they'll want him back.
All right, see if y'all like this trade. This just came in. Somebody just sent this to us. The Mavericks would get Kyle Anderson, Taurean Prince, and Naz Reid for Bertans and Jaden Hardy.
I'm doing that one.
That's one.
Like Naz Reid.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of defense around Luka, which I want.
And
Yeah, length, yeah.
And Nas
Yeah,
Reed is playing even a lot better recently. You know, he'd be an instant upgrade over all the centers that we had. When you were talking about it before, King, he'd
Yeah.
probably be
The best
probably
center.
considered one of the best
He'll be
centers
one-
that the
he'll
Mavs
be
had.
the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can stretch the floor a little bit too.
Yep.
I just,
Man,
man, I'm just so scared about Jaden Hardy. I'm so scared that he might
Giving him
break
up,
out
yeah.
and be
Yeah.
something. And I'm like, man, we drafted Jaden Hardy.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think if Harold Victor was in this chat, he'd be going crazy about this Nas Reed deal.
Yeah, I think we should get Nas Reed. He don't want to be there anymore. So I told you, I think the perfect scenario for me is if we can get James Wiseman now and then wait for. I think Anthony Edwards going to be available. I keep telling everybody, nobody wants to believe me.
Wow. You think Ant is going to be available?
I think Ant's going to be available because I think Minnesota is stuck. I think
Well,
Minnesota is stuck.
Minnesota completely.
I agree with you,
Screwed
King.
themselves.
And the reason why I agree with you is because, like the Mavericks, they went all in when they weren't supposed to. They
Mhm.
went and got Rudy Gobert. They have Carl Anthony Towns, who I don't know if are they going to trade him to
They gonna try to.
recompensate their value like that they gave up for Rudy. And then with Anthony Edwards, he's already shown that he's kind of a I want to win now type of player. So I definitely see where you're going with Ant.
And I don't think he has to stay in Minnesota. Like I don't think he's like, man, I need to play in Minnesota. I think he'd rather go somewhere else. So if I'm thinking about somebody not signing that rookie extension, I know they talked about Zion, but watch out for Ant because he's not developing the place he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be that dude this year.
I think Cat gets traded. To be honest with you, I think that I think that's who is going to be moved. And actually, I'm I'll call it now. I think that he's going to New York. To be honest with you, so New York
I don't
has
think
the assets.
Rolo, you think they're gonna get as many assets back for Cat as they?
I don't think that they will. But I mean, of course, Minnesota will probably try to squeeze them for as many of those assets to make up for what they give up on the Gobert trade. But then it'd be just a matter of who they bring back.
Rolo is completely right. Minnesota's probably trying to do their best to fix that mess of a trade that Gobert trade was.
I think they will. But do you think New York? Do you think New York will give that many for a Cat though? I don't think New York's going to help him out that much. I think New York's going to try to give him maybe 2 for Cat right now because Cat's value at an all-time low. I feel like.
No, I mean, I don't disagree that his value is a little bit lower than where it's been, but I mean, I think that there's always going to be someone that we'd be willing to trade for a Cat. Right. So, I mean, Oklahoma City could come in and be like, I could offer you, even though they don't need them, I can offer you like 5 first-round picks. And they have 17 in the next however many years. So they can always drive the value up. It's just a matter of who is leveraging against who and who really wants them, So,
Rolo, I don't know if anybody gonna actually want him. That's the part. I know people gonna want him, but I don't think people gonna really value.
I think New York would want to do that.
Yeah, man. I don't know why I have that feeling.
How many draft picks I'm saying? I said like Rudy was 5, right? 5 and 2 switches.
I think.
How many draft picks you think Cat gets from New York?
Well, I mean, because you got to remember, right? Some of those draft picks that they have are are ones that are going to convert to 2s, to second-round picks. So they're like fake first-round picks. So they can trade like two of those, and then like 2 of the other real ones. They could essentially give up 4 if they wanted to, because 2 of those are, like I said, are fake first-round picks. They're gonna convert to second-rounders.
I'll say the same thing we said about Minnesota. If New York trades that trade and does 4 picks, I hope Carl they're missing piece. I hope Carl Towns they're missing piece for a championship.
Yeah, I think it's going to settle around 3. To be honest with you, 3 is going to be the price. But I mean, of course, Minnesota is going to want 4, or they're going to want as many as they can extract. So.
I still think Ant might leave. I just think Ant isn't like a sure thing to stay in Minnesota. It's Minnesota too. Like I just don't think he seems like he's a big type of personality that would like to be seen more than a personality. I mean, Minnesota. So, and that's no disrespect to Minnesota, but I think if anybody runs off of that rookie contract, it'll probably be Ant.
ESPN. You trying to already get Ant out of there?
I am. I want Ant over here. I think Ant is right now, as far as timeline and all, like I think a Paul George type would fit beside Luka. And I think the best player that fits that mold is like an Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards would be a perfect piece beside Luka Doncic as far as doing everything that he needs to do beside him. That can catch and shoot, that can create, that can cut athleticism, that can defend other athletic guards and all that. I think Anthony Edwards would be perfect.
I could see Ant going.
Where?
That's the case.
You broke up for a
By
second.
the time is,
Oh,
you know,
what a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I said I could see Ant going to Miami. You know,
Yeah.
because by that time, Butler's going to be. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
going to
so-
Miami, goddammit.
I could see Ant going to Miami too. He's right though. I definitely could see Anthony Edwards going to Miami.
Either Miami or the Lakers.
You know, interesting about Miami. What are they gonna do with Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry? Because Jimmy Butler just doesn't have the patience, and then Kyle Lowry, he's not the point guard that he needs to be anymore. So it makes me wonder what is Miami gonna do, because they're in a situation where they don't have Cap, they're missing the four. They're also they're still developing Jovic. So it really makes me wonder, where's Jimmy Butler gonna go?
How much do you give up for Jimmy Butler?
Doe in a first.
That's only one first. Just
Yeah,
one?
because we're giving them Doe.
Yeah,
That's another first round pick.
I think I might give up two
I might give up Dinwiddie and Doe.
and a first, or just both of them.
Probably just both of them and keep my first for Jimmy.
Tim Hardaway wants to go down there, so like we get
Yeah, I mean, so we
Tim
could
Hardaway,
send him home.
you, Dodo and
Jimmy.
Tim.
Bro, Jimmy, one of the best playoff performances
Enyi
in
Hardaway,
the NBA right now. So I think Miami going to demand a couple of them for him.
Well, how old is Butler too? I mean, I know he's a freakish athlete.
33, 34. He's still around that, right?
He's like in 33, I think.
Yeah,
Bro,
that's thing.
we steady trying to get these 33-year-olds.
No. So I don't want those guys.
Yeah,
I don't want to give the house. The only guy on Miami I would give the house for is Bam Adebayo.
Bam,
Yeah, Bam.
me too.
I think Bam would fit perfectly with Luka.
And that's
Like, he's another guy.
not Luka Light.
Oh yeah, Bam and Luka would be.
No, I said Luka Light.
Not Luka
You
Light.
wouldn't want to get Luka Light.
just your guy, just Bam. That's it. Bam's the only one I would get as far as giving the house away. I'm glad we didn't get Kyle Lowry. Like that was a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Did you see that trade? The fake, not a fake trade, but like a proposed trade by some magazine or whatever, saying I forgot what it was, like 2 first-round picks. I forgot the players, but for Fred VanVleet, we don't
Hell, we could have JB.
It was
I mean-
for the Mavs trading.
So us giving them
Mavs-
2 first?
got 2 first-round picks,
getting
yeah.
like 2 first rounds. I forgot the players.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm good, bro.
I'm giving up 2 first rounders. Give me OG.
That's facts. Give me OG or Siakam.
You'll see Siakam. Yep, there you go.
Throw Doe and the 2 first-round picks and give me Siakam. That's fine.
How far would you go for Siakam?
Whew.
Actually, I know what we have you on here. Would you go to house?
2 and Doe.
Pascal is
He's an all NBA player. He's
Yeah,
a bona
man.
fide number 2 on the
Yeah.
championship level team.
shit. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay, we
my turn now.
had enough of them now.
My bad. I don't know. I think I probably would. I probably would fold, man. I think I'd probably try to do whatever I could to make that dream a reality, because I think Pascal and Luka would form such a dynamic duo. You know, I think they would work so well off of each other. You know, that I think that it would be worth going in. You know, all on it. I don't know if it would be like 3 first-round picks, or I don't know how many swaps or whatever you need to do, but I would definitely try to keep the players that we can. You know, if we can, you know, especially the defenders, we need to keep the defenders, right? But I mean, whatever needs to be done, we just need to do it. You know, if Pascal is available, I just think that Pascal. I know there's smoke around that he might be available, but I think that's just Toronto bluffing, man. I think they're trying to get rid of OG. I think they're trying to get rid of Fred VanVleet, and they're trying to get rid of GTJ, you know, Gary Trent Jr. So those are the 3 players they're trying to get off of right now. But I don't think that they're going to get up. I don't think that they'll trade Pascal Siakam. It'd have to be a Rudy Gobert type trade, I think, for them to let go of Siakam.
We trade their whole roster in Toronto with 4 first-round picks They can keep Scotty Barnes, but if I swear if Luka had that Toronto roster,
Man,
we'll win
Man,
championships.
the Raptors.
I think the
They-
Dorian Finney-Smith for Siakam and a first or 2 firsts sounds a lot better than the other deal that a lot of people were talking about was the Christian Wood for Siakam, with the first with Christian Wood going for Siakam.
It's because
I'm about to say TGK. I'm scared that if we get Siakam, we don't fill enough holes.
Yeah.
So like if with Siakam, I know he would fit. Him and Luka would fit well off of each other, but like we still would need another playmaker as far as helping Luka out. The rebounding would still be an issue because Siakam is a good rebounder, but he's not like a get you over double-digit rebounds a game and stuff like that. So I don't know if I throw the house at him as far as Siakam, but I like Siakam. I think he'd fit perfectly.
Tim Hardaway's doing a good job rebounding. So
So the Mavericks have made trades, y'all, over the last 6 years. That's according to Landon Thompson. He had looked this up. So y'all want me to run down the last 6 trades for the Mavs? Y'all ready for this?
Go for it.
Doug McDermott in there.
I feel like
Made some great trades, y'all. Made some great trades over the last 6 years here. So in 2016-17, we got Nerlens Noel.
First round, he worked first rounder.
In 2017-18, we got Doug McDermott.
Dougie buckets. Yeah.
Make buckets. 2018 and 19, we got y'all's favorite small forward of all time, Justin Jackson and Zach Randolph.
Oh, the
horrible deal.
automatic
That deal, I'm
floater.
like, why?
Automatic
What did we get out of
floater.
Now,
Automatic.
this the one right here. This the one. So in 2019 and 20, we got Willie Cauley-Stein.
I was so looking forward to him playing with the Mavericks because I thought
Yeah.
that when he was, the work
Sacramento.
videos that we kept on seeing, and I thought that, man, maybe it was just getting him over here in this system. Maybe he'd be what we needed him to be. But yeah, it was
something
pretty
about
disappointing.
Dallas that just makes centers just completely flaccid. They play.
I thought he was unlocked potential. He was athletic. We thought he was going to be able to do. Plus, he was a high draft pick.
And you says we're gonna call WCS. We're gonna call him the Big Purr Part 2.
So at 20 and 21, we got JJ Redick and Nico Millie.
Oh, that was a horrible thing, man. JJ Redick, I don't know why they ever traded that. Was it the 2nd round pick for JJ? If they knew that his foot was jacked up,
Yeah.
it was just.
Well,
We had Nico. Everybody was chanting for Nico.
that's the Mavericks feeling like they're one piece away from a championship roster, and that's not the case. JJ Redick is not getting you there, and then Nico Melli was actually playing playoff minutes. This man ain't never seen the court before, and he was playing playoff minutes.
Nico was horrible.
Melly was Bertans without the threes.
Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of Bertans, that was our last trade was Spencer Dinwiddie and Bertans.
Hey.
Is that trade a win? Does everybody agree that trade was a win?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was.
Okay. Annie. Look at Annie. He like,
Uh-oh.
you know.
And you want street clothes back? Hold on.
I want street clothes back. I felt like you could have got a Daniel Gafford. I felt like you could have got better return with that.
Nobody wanted street clothes.
Oh, like you could have extracted another player instead of Bertans, or including.
Kept the 2nd round pick because we traded that. It's something that if they were to make that deal again, I would not be happy. That type of deal. If you're trading away the best talent, and all you get is 2 bad contracts, that's not the way to go.
True. I mean, Bertans is holding us back from getting other players. 16 mil, and he's only giving you 5 minutes a game. Like, it's not enough.
Everybody looking for numbers. I just think
I
Dinwiddie
have to ask you a question though. So you feel like Spencer Dinwiddie wasn't worth trading for? Now with the benefit of hindsight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're here where we're at right now. So you don't feel like it was worth trading for Spencer? Because I feel like that's what the trade was, really, right?
Yep.
The trade was KP for Spencer. Bertans just had to make the money work, and we had to throw in a 2nd rounder to sweeten the pot, for them. But for me, I think that it was the KP for Spencer trade. And I mean, if I'm sitting here with you guys, I say it was worth it all day because at least Spencer's been playing, the majority of the games that he's been at. Whereas where we were at with KP, he was missing
Mhm.
25% of the games or
I think
more.
40%.
All right,
Nice.
take away the
Nice,
playoff.
Rolo.
Take away the playoff run. Is it worth it?
I can't take away the playoff run, any, because that's what it's about. That's about Game 7 having a 30-point scores in Game 7. Only the time that happened was Kobe and Shaq. I gotta throw that in
I
there.
feel like everyone, they look at that run, and
KP was 13-5.
I was just about to say, you remember what KP did, Enyi?
If we
So you got to compare playoffs to playoffs, man.
First of all, the reason why I'm hesitant. I said this before. I'm never going to judge a move based on the result. I judge a move based on the thought process that went into that decision that was made.
Right.
Right? If I'm trading away the best talent and I'm not getting one of 5 things, I'm against it. If I'm not getting financial relief, if I'm not getting a young talent or a young flyer or draft compensation or anything like that, I'm against it. I'm against the thought process. We didn't get any of that back.
Right.
Now,
I think it's
how
just
many
KP
times
had
does
the
that
best
trade
talent.
go to work? I know with hindsight we made it to Spencer balled out, but if you're looking at the time, Spencer was his trade value was also very low. He was not shooting 40%. His team did not like him. It was 2 very bad contracts. Right? I think we lucked out. Hindsight, cool. Yeah, we won, but how many times does that trade go to work out for the Mavs if they make those type of deals?
So you're saying something that really sticks with me, right? So you're saying that we traded away the best talent. Can we be certain that KP was the best talent at that time?
That's what I keep saying, Rolo.
I mean, the reason why I say that is because, I mean, besides the whole saying of the best ability is availability, right? Whatever you feel about that. I think that, to something that Jose said and many of us have talked about, KP just didn't have that dog in him, man. I mean, the way he played too finesse, right? Like, he just played too finesse, and it just didn't work with Luka. I mean, we just saw it. It wasn't working. Hell, even the chemistry that they had that you could see, sometimes they would dap each other up, but they weren't even messing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't like the way it seems, right? That Spencer and Luka are getting along right now. So, I mean, for me, that was worth it. Just to take the team from what it was in disharmony with KP and Luka, right? And to harmonize it a little bit better with guys like Spencer. And I see what you're saying, man. The theory of KP, right? The theory of KP was that he was the most talented.
Like if you're to say, I'm gonna trade Spencer Dinwiddie. How much is Spencer making?
18 million.
18. If I trade Spencer Dinwiddie for 2 guys who are making $9 million each, but are still like bottom of the roster,
but both of them aren't. So Spencer Dinwiddie played the more important part than KP, and he was half the price.
And may I add, it's not just about KP, because sure, KP was the outgoing price for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, but we also had to look at it in the Jalen Brunson situation. We were in a position, well, some of us were in a position as fans where we didn't know Jalen Brunson could be a point guard, and he was only on the bench. And then he didn't even play. Well, he played in the playoffs against the Clippers, and he didn't have the best performance. And then we come into a season where he's on his last year of his rookie deal. We had to figure out what he really is. So then KP is thrown in this trade where we're getting another ball handler who's probably going to be insurance for what eventually happens is Jalen Brunson leaving. So we had to factor in the Jalen Brunson story as well when we talk about Dinwiddie and KP.
That's true.
If I'm giving them both contracts right now, I'm giving Spencer Dinwiddie a higher contract than KP. The big issue is we overpaid KP too early. We shouldn't have given him the contract. We should have let him sign the qualifying offer. That was the issue.
Based on availability, but I still think.
I mean, I know KP had his one All-Star year. I know KP had his one All-Star year, Enyi, but he's never led a team to the to the playoffs. Spencer Dinwiddie has. 2 times.
Does
2 times.
Spencer have that dog in him?
2 times Spencer Dinwiddie has led the team to the playoffs. In the East, the same East that KP was in.
Definitely has that dog in him.
Right.
But
dog.
on paper, which the game of basketball is not played on paper, you guys are correct. I think it's a philosophical difference that we have, right? That's why, I can't say I'm happy about the deal. I'm happy about how it worked out. But if you're telling me we're gonna do that type of trade again, that's like, let's do it again, I'm gonna be like, hold on. I'm not sure that's gonna work out that well twice. But I mean, we ended up getting a good guy. I mean, if Spencer Dinwiddie play like how he did in Washington,
yeah,
it's a very
to elaborate to that point, right? Like I follow what your logic is there. I feel like because you said both of them were negative assets, right? Spencer and Bertans.
It was all three assets were negative.
Negative, right?
But we gave away the asset,
Right.
the additional asset of the second round pick.
The second round
we
pick.
got nothing back in return.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I feel like the Mavericks should have probably tried to fight a little bit more and not take the Bertans contract back, and maybe tried to get one of the younger players or somebody else to, or even 2 people to make the math work. Like we're taking one malcontent from you, right? And Spencer, he's not happy. You guys aren't happy with him, whatever. But again, so we're all looking at this from the benefit of hindsight again. It's just they should have done that, but for whatever reason they didn't do that.
Nope. It's because nobody wanted street clothes.
I was just getting tired.
Nobody.
I was getting tired of just seeing this all the time.
Yeah, nobody wanted street clothes to be on their team. Like that's why we had to take all that. It was no one else that was willing to take him on. No one.
And if you guys remember, also whenever he did play, right, and when Luka didn't play, he was always talking after the media and stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys didn't mess with each other. They just didn't get along, right? He would go out there and talk about how even if the Mavs lost, the ball movement was great. I got my touches. I did this. I got to do that. But he was never about the team. It was always about how things affected him. So I mean, I just think that it just needed to be a marriage that just needed to dissolve, man. How it needed to happen.
That's why Dodo called him out, Rolo, after he was traded, and said nobody has any egos and all left on his team right now and all they got rid of. But I don't know. I think I would do that trade 10 times out of 10 over again now, knowing hindsight, because I'd rather have Spencer Dinwiddie than street clothes.
Yeah, Spencer's worked out wonderfully for the Mavericks. I mean, he's been everything that the Mavericks have needed. Yeah. In hindsight,
maybe not beforehand.
Yeah,
but I'm saying in hindsight, I'm doing that trade.
I'm never going to judge something. I'm not going to. But I tend not to judge stuff by hindsight because that's the team. It's like football. They go for it on 4th down, they don't get it. You're like, why would you go for it on 4th down? They go for it again, they get it. You're like, oh yes, definitely go.
You're genius. You're genius.
Exactly.
Well,
what's the mindset? Why would you do that? Let's weigh the pros and cons or whatever.
Well, little did we know, right? They were talking about it. I even think that they talked about it in the broadcast a couple of games after the trade, where they were talking about, the Spencer Dinwiddie was going to be Brunson Insurance, and look what happened. You know what I mean?
I thought Brunson was definitely out the door too when they drafted
Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. Yep.
We truthfully, Enyi, I think the only reason that KP got 20 points a game is because he was an all-star already, and we forced him to get that based off his reputation and what he thought he was going to get. If he wasn't, and we were playing the game regular based off of talent and how guys should get touches, I guess, or whatever, KP wouldn't have got 20 points a game. He wasn't efficient enough to get it. Like it was foolish to run through him in the post. We had guys saying, "Why are you like KP is just doing nothing in the post?" Like everybody knew it, but our team and Rick Carlisle and them kept trying to feed it to him because he wanted his touches. So like Spencer Dinwiddie can play in the flow of the game. We just talked about it. What was it, 2 games ago, where Spencer came through in the 4th quarter with 10 points. Like KP, you looking at him in the 4th quarter, like, where are you, KP? He's like, I'm nowhere to be found. Give me the ball and put Chris Paul on my knees, and I can't do anything.
He'll shoot it from half court.
Exactly. He'll run the ball on the fast break and shoot a 3 as a 7'3" guy in the playoffs and pull up for 3. He'll do that kind of stuff because he's afraid of going to the rim. So
but
no,
it's worked out for him too, right? It's worked out for him in Washington. I mean, he's doing good in Washington, and Spencer's been doing good over here.
because he's about his numbers. KP wants his numbers, and KP's over there getting numbers now. He's not worried about winning.
Yeah. Guys, it's been a long one, man. We already over almost 2.5 hours, man. We definitely appreciate y'all, man, coming on with us tonight, man. I know it's one of those ones we didn't plan. It was just something we just asked out the blue. Definitely appreciate y'all guys hopping on. If y'all guys want to follow these guys on their socials and on their channels and all that stuff, I have their info down below so you guys can follow them. Of course, Enyi's on the Dallas Prospects. You got Rolo and Jose. Both are on 77 Spaces. You got that right there by Rolo's name. 77 Spaces on Twitter, guys. Follow them. They have their pregame shows before every Maverick game. And also, my boy TGK. Y'all already know TGK. He's on here a lot. There he is. Showing off, man. Showing off. Yeah, follow him too, man. Y'all, most of y'all here follow TGK, but if you don't, man, please follow him on TGK TV on YouTube, guys. Also, guys, if you are a huge fan of the Mavericks and you love content, guys, go ahead and follow us here on our channel. Also, hit that notification bell so whenever we drop new content like this, you guys will be the first to know. Also, hit that like button to help us build up our algorithm, guys, for more Mav fans like yourself to join the Glow Yard gang. And right up on the Enyi right there, y'all guys see you on all socials under We Talk Mavs, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, guys. So y'all can follow us on all of those under We Talk Mavs. Also on the Rolo, y'all see we on all podcast streaming services, guys. So if you guys can never get to watch us, you guys can listen to us. We always post our shows on all podcast streaming services. Also, we're on Twitch if you guys want to follow us on Twitch. All right. Is there anything I'm missing, Kenny?
I haven't got to say this yet because it's been a while since I've been on, but I want to congratulate you guys on getting 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man.
It's awesome, man.
Appreciate
it. It's just a stepping stone of what's to come. So really,
we're trying to get to y'all level, man. We're still trying to get there, man.
We've been like at 4,000 for like years, but no, I feel like you guys have been putting in the work despite the good years and the good and the bad. You can't bet against. We Talk Mavs putting out an hour-long post game show, so you guys have put in the work for everything that comes from it. So I appreciate you guys.
No, I appreciate you anyway. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, anything I'm missing,
one
man?
Thing you forgot. Yeah, you missed something else.
What you got, TGK?
The merch store, man. I'm waiting for my trash can juice. Get in. I can't wait.
Listen,
I got a cop. I think it's February 2nd. I think it comes in the.
Oh, so you're coming out? Oh, so yeah. I guess everybody's coming around February 7th. I just got the email too.
Except mine.
Well, King don't know when his coming in. But yeah, if you guys want some We Talk Mavs merch, we have the link. I have it now set it up under. If you go either to the community tab, we have a link under there we set up, or you can go to the About tab, and I got it set up under there. You just click on the We Talk Mavs, and it send you right to the website. And also, what was the other thing? What was it merch? What's the other thing we talked to say? Crap, what is it?
Join.
Thank you. So the join button, guys. If you guys want to join, it's now February, so we're gonna start doing our special content, guys, for the members here. If you guys want to join, guys, if you're on an Android, you can just click on the join button right next to the subscribe button. If you're on an iPhone, you have to go either through your browser on your iPhone or you have to go on a computer to join that way. So me and King are about to start doing our special content here. It's now February, so it's giving you guys a heads up. Almost made this one of them, but we decided to let it for everybody tonight, man, since everybody snowed in, iced in, or whatever. So everybody a chance to kind of watch it. So yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Except for it's sunny over there in TGK's world. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It really is. You're right. So, but yeah, man. With all that being said, man, listen, guys. We'd like to thank our guests. We got TGK. We got Enyi. We got the 77 Spaces guys on with us, man. We got Jose and Rolo. We appreciate y'all guys hopping on. Finally got y'all on. We appreciate y'all, man. This is We Talk Mavs here on the Glow Mavs YouTube channel. We should be back tomorrow. We don't even know if Dallas playing tomorrow, so we're going to have to see. Because right now there's a rumor that they might not be able to play tomorrow because of the weather conditions and stuff. 'Cause I think Detroit is still here right now, too. They haven't even left yet.
Oh, yeah, they're still stranded there.
Yeah, they're still here. So they're not going to even play. They're supposed to play today, I think, and they couldn't play. So they're still here. But yeah, hopefully, guys, hit that notification bell. Y'all know when we pop on. So with all that being said, guys, it's We Talk Mavs, and we are out. We appreciate y'all rocking with us.
See you guys.
Go Mavs.
Go Mavs.
Yes, sir.